Hello everybody, how are you all doing today? Great to see you all here. Jeff, I can't put your comment up actually, Jeff. It came in just before I started, but yeah, Michael did a great job yesterday on his live stream. So really pleased to see him taking that first step and getting out on into the real world of YouTube. Matt, hi, great to see you here as well. My fellow friend in the Asia region. Michael, let me get some of these up. Oh, and look at that. The comments are actually coming in the right size. Usually, the first time I put a comment up in my live stream, somehow I've got the size all messed up, but these seem to have been remembered from last time, so that's good. Hi, Matt. Hi, Michael. Rich, great to see you as well. And Neil. Fantastic. So today I'm going to do something a little bit different to my usual live stream, because usually there isn't really so much of a plan as such. I give my usual update, obviously, on my progress with my little challenge that I've set myself, so I'll still do that. But then it's specifically today going to be a sort of Q&A about the latest update to Ecamm Live. And I'm going to run through a few of my favourite features. I did do a sort of full overview of them. Hi, Paul. Oh, I'm clicking on the wrong place there. Hi, Paul. I did do a full run through of all the features, but there's a few little details that perhaps I didn't that were missed out, and some that I didn't maybe explain as well. So I want to just cover a few of those, and then some that just weren't actually mentioned at all. So I'll talk about a few of those and share a few little tips and things like that, and some other questions that have come up. But if anybody's got any sort of specific questions about the beta, it's not the beta. We're over that. The actual 3.9 release, then drop them into the chat, and then I'll try to get to them all. We'll get to them all at the end. So let me just come and drop in my lower third. There we go. Just so that everyone's clear what we're doing. But I'll come and talk first of all about my my sort of progress so far. With my 365 videos in a year goal, and so we're on day 162, and it's been another slow week for me now. This is the third week in a row where I've only put out maybe one or two sort of full-length videos as opposed to my shorts, which I've also not really done many of this week. Loads of other stuff going on in my my sort of work side of stuff, so all my mornings have been taken up because I've been rushing to get a load of stuff created for all of that. So I've still actually been making videos. I've been making probably about 3 or 4 videos a day actually, but just not for this channel. So so yeah, we're still a little bit further behind now, 143 videos. So I've got a little bit of catching up to do in order to get back to back on track to be averaging one a day. I'm not counting the shorts. I've mentioned that before, but yeah, the shorts don't count. And there's been quite a good week for sort of views and things like that on the channel. So I've had 3,000 views this week and 300 hours watched on the channel, and 50 new subscribers, which I think might be the sort of most that I've ever had in a week. And incidentally, I just sort of hit the 600 subs the day before yesterday. So there's been, or was it yesterday? And so yeah, it's let me just bring you over to my screen share in a moment. I'll show you my stats. So yeah, basically the first 300 videos were took 100 days. Sorry, not the free. I'm not quite with it this morning. Can you tell? The first 300 subscribers were in the first 100 days, but then the second 300 were 60 in the next 60 days. So it'll be interesting to see what the next 300 come in at. But I'll report back to you how I get on with that. So let me just take this one down. Right, so drop out the lower third. So these are my my stats. Let me just zoom this up a little bit on. Whoops. Oh, it's going a bit overboard. There we go. I think you can see that now. So this is basically the views. So yeah, it had this sort of spike up. That was actually when the last major beta release came out for Ecamm, and I got quite a spike up of views then. And then that's also when I started doing my my shorts as well. So there was obviously more views then, but then the watch time also sort of has been quite choppy really in terms of, you know, how much, and it's basically these are coinciding with the few long form videos that I've put out, which obviously makes sense. If you're putting out longer form videos, there's going to be more watch time. So I did like a couple the week before last, a couple last week, and then there's been one this week, which was the big Ecamm one. So you can see that those are basically the spikes in watch time. So as soon as I get back to actually just doing regularly one a week, which should be next week, I said that last week though, but yeah, it's that should all be a lot more stable and not so choppy. And the subscribers have just been sort of fairly steady really, although there was a bit of a jump up in the sort of the baseline, I suppose, around the last 3 weeks. I'll just mention quickly again something which I keep mentioning, but it's worth it for anybody who might not have heard me talk about it before. 3 weeks ago, or 4 weeks ago now actually, I went through in my descriptions of all of my my videos, and I added in all of the links to the gear that I use. So if I come into my sort of content section, if I open up any one of these videos, then right down at the bottom, I've now got this section here, which is basically, I've made it stand out more, so more ways that people can contact me, things like that, and then also some affiliate links down there. But then down at the bottom, I've just got this gear list, and it's got all of my Amazon affiliate links to stuff that I use. Now, I've never really sort of put Amazon links into my videos as such, apart from if I'm mentioning a specific piece of gear or something like that. But anyway, so I went through and did a find and replace with TubeBuddy, which it's part of the TubeBuddy Legend level. But basically what you do is, let me just come over to here, it's up at the top. Sorry if you've heard this before, but it's worth repeating. Excuse me. If you click on this one here, then you've got this bulk video processing and do find and replace. And then if you click on there, you can basically find any text. These text boxes can be expanded as big as you like. So you can find any text and replace it with any text. So I basically went through and found all of my sort of descriptions, the standard sort of footer, and then I replaced it with those affiliate links for Amazon. And in the last 4 weeks since I've done that, whereas before I would get like a few click-throughs to Amazon because they were in some of my videos, but in the last 4 weeks I've had 600 click-throughs to Amazon, and the conversion rates dropped slightly to about 3 or 4% as opposed to 4 or 5%, but still it actually means that it is a sort of significant uptick in the number of people that are buying stuff through my links, and that's effectively really paying for TubeBuddy Legend at the moment. I mean, it's early days, it's only been 4 weeks, hasn't it? But we'll see how it goes. But at the moment, if it does maintain this sort of level of people clicking through on it, then it would actually have just paid for TubeBuddy Legend. So it's worth having a look at doing that. And even if you're not doing something that's specifically like tech reviews or gear reviews or anything like that, people are still interested in the stuff you're using. I know that I am. If I ever see somebody's like, if they have an over-the-shoulder shot showing the desk, I think, oh, what's that they've got there? I just wanted to mention that for anybody who might find that useful. So that's where we are with the stats. I'm not going to spend too much time on that today. And do you know, Rich, at some point I probably will do that. I'll do a thing where I sort of show like the other stuff that I do with the Ecamm. The reason why I haven't is because I never wanted to come across as this channel being a sort of like me pitching for the other stuff, because the other stuff is all sort of business related, and so it's all course material and stuff like that. So I didn't want to just come and look like I was just basically using this to promote other courses that are somewhat unrelated. So I'll perhaps share it in the group with you privately though. But what I've been doing this week is we're just doing a raise at the moment for the trading platform that we've got, and so I'm just creating some slides and things like that. Not slides, I'm using Keynote slides. I've got slides on the mind today, but bringing them into Ecamm to do presentations for investors and stuff like that. So that's what I've been busy with this week. Ecamm just makes that that whole process so much easier. And to be honest with you, it's like when you want to send a pack out to some potential investors, you're looking for funding and things like that for projects. If you can send them a video and it's like looks really sort of professional and slick, then it just make a difference. It sort of shows the sort of level of detail and stuff like that you're going to go into. It's also makes it a lot easier to actually demonstrate things and stuff like that. So the other side of Alec. I like that, Paul. Well, there's a few, I suppose. So it depends which one. But somebody's also mentioned before about like Excel, because I use Excel really heavily. So the thing that we're raising funding for is a trading thing. So I do a lot of like analysis and stuff like that using Excel. So I could do a whole other channel on sort of Excel power tips, but that market's a little bit saturated actually, and there's a few people that I always go to. So I probably just divert people to there instead. But anyway, so getting on with Ecamm Live version 3.9, which is just amazing. So if you've got any questions, drop them in the chat. Obviously, I should have done a little with that little graphic. I should have added Paul's little. If it hasn't got a Q colon in front of it, it's not a question. But so I'm not going to go through all of the features or anything like that again. Jeff, I've got that in the way there, haven't I? My plan for Mac tips tuition would be useful. Most of us use only the barest essentials of Mac OS. Yeah, so that's I will be covering that sort of stuff on this channel actually, Jeff. And I've got like a few things to do with sort of productivity and stuff like that are in the list, and I've already started in a little bit of a way with things like my keyboard Maestro beginner's guide and stuff like that. And I think I've got the video 1 of that, but there's actually 5 of that, and then there's another 5 sort of advanced videos. So I've got them all mapped out. I've just got to actually sit down and make them all. So I need to clone myself and be able to crank out the productivity a little bit more. Oh, hi Eileen, good to see you as always. Always like to see you around. Into the features then. So there was a few different ones that I wanted to talk about, and sort of, as I say, it's things that maybe I didn't cover in my my video that I did about it. I'll leave a link to the video in the description after we've finished here for anyone who missed it. With profiles, Hi, Greg. Sneaking in just as I'm kicking off. I'm just going over the features of Ecamm Live version 3.9. So with profiles, somebody asked a question in the Ecamm Live Facebook group yesterday about if they've exported profiles and brought them back in, does the Stream Deck still remember them? So there's a bit of a thing about what Stream Deck remembers and what it doesn't remember. But it does seem that, like, if you actually go to export a profile, so probably what I should do is share my my screen here a minute. This is going to look like quite a mess now, actually. But in profiles, you can basically come up to the top, and you can go to profile, and then there is this export current profile. So you can export it, and it basically exports it as a package. So you've just got one file then that you can just. It contains everything to do with the profile. It contains the scenes, any audio overlays, any audio clips, any overlays that you've got, video overlays or anything like that, and it encapsulates them all into one single file. So you can then just take it to another computer, double click on it and open it, and it will just open the whole thing back up again. And it also means that you can send them to other people as well, or make them available as digital downloads. For example, if you want to make a whole set of scenes and a whole profile, and then you'd be able to sell those as well as a digital download. So that's another use case for it. But the Stream Deck, if you've got it on your own computer and you sort of open the profile, if you've deleted it out of Ecamm and then you open the profile again, the Stream Deck will generally remember all of the sort of mappings that you had to it. The one thing that doesn't seem to work with the Stream Deck is if you actually duplicate the profile. So if you've already got a profile set up in Ecamm and then you duplicate it, then the mappings won't work with the duplicated profile, even though once you're in that profile, all the names are the same. But where it does work is if you've got a scene or something like that in a profile, if you copy and paste it into the other profile. So that was one thing that I didn't really mention much, I don't think, in my original video, but Command-C and Command-V works in scenes, and it also works in overlays as well. So now, whereas before they just had the duplicate button for the scene, now you can just select the scene and then Command-C, Command-V to paste it. But it does work between profiles as well. So if you're in one profile and you copy the scene, go over to the other profile and paste it in, then it will just paste the whole scene and everything that's contained in it over. And that, in that case, the Stream Deck does actually remember the scene that it's mapped to. So that means that you can sort of set up sort of layouts or whatever, and then if you copy the scenes over to another profile, then you can adjust them and tweak them and all sorts and do whatever, but the mappings will still stay the same. So I'm going to try and do a little bit of digging to find out exactly the actual sort of full logic and everything like that behind the coding of this, just so that I can get to the bottom of what works and what doesn't work. Because it would actually be great if you just always knew, like, say, if the scene name was the same, because I tend to have the same sort of names to my scenes. I've got like a titles one, I've got a main scene, which is this sort of view, then I might have like screen sharing left, screen sharing right, those sorts of things, or top down camera. So I tend to stick to the same sort of naming conventions with my scenes. So it would be good if the Stream Deck, like, I could just create a new scene with that name and it would remember it, but it doesn't do that at the moment. But I'm going to do a little bit of digging to see if I can find out more, and certainly stick in a feature request for that one. So that was just a couple of things that I didn't really mention about profiles, so I just wanted to mention those. But the other thing is, somebody else asked in the group about can you switch profiles? Is there a shortcut to switch profiles? Now, there isn't technically a keyboard shortcut to switch profiles, but if you are in the profiles menu, you can see that all of your profiles are actually listed here as a menu. And what that means is that anything that is a menu item can technically have a keyboard shortcut assigned to it. So there is an app called, let me just get it up for you. It's called Custom Shortcuts. So yeah, it's not that hard to remember, but I'll drop a link into the chat actually while I'm just here quickly. I'll just say hello, Craig. Nice to see you here. I've never seen that emoji before, by the way. The little cowboy hat emoji. That's brilliant. Right, so this is Custom Shortcuts. I'll just quickly show you what this is. So this is an app. There we go. Oops, a daisy. There we go. So Custom Shortcuts, that's cheat sheet actually. There we go. I want this one. Did I put the right one? Yeah, we did. Custom shortcuts. You can do it in Mac OS, actually. If you go into System Preferences, then you can assign keyboard shortcuts. But this particular app is just a lot more user-friendly and easy to use. So it basically, when you open it up, it opens up like this. And then you've just got the apps. It'll be all the apps that are open. And so you can just come down to the bottom. Let me just move that up a little bit like this. So here you can see that basically I've actually got some of my profiles in. So let me just come up to have a little look at what my profiles are. So I've got one that's called, what is it, LANX. All of my, I've got this naming convention. It's actually not my invention, but it's from Merlin Man, which is basically 3 letters and then an X. And because if you're doing searches, you want stuff that when you search for it, you know that you're only going to find that thing. So I name all my projects and things like that with the sort of 3 letters related to whatever it is, and then an X on the end. So that if I'm searching on Finder or wherever, I always find them. So. But anyway, so if I'm in Ecamm Live, if I've got Ecamm Live open, and then if I click on this plus to create a new shortcut, then basically you can just type in whatever the menu item is. So I had that one that was LANX, and you can see it's just sort of found it there, that profile of LANX. So then I could assign a shortcut to it, and that means that I could just flick between it with a keyboard shortcut. Now I actually also do this in Keyboard Maestro as well, because with Keyboard Maestro you can basically activate any menu command from any app, and actually in that case the app doesn't need to be the active app, so you can sort of do it in the background. I think Jeff just saw mentioned Keyboard Maestro. To set up the apps, and so I'll actually coming onto this, Jeff. So yeah, with the Keyboard Maestro you can activate menu commands. So what I have going on is I've got all of the menu commands, all of the profiles mapped in Keyboard Maestro, and then when I'm starting up my setting up my Ecamm, I just press one button, and in Keyboard Maestro it basically triggers the profile or switches to the correct profile. Then it opens the windows, because also in Ecamm, if you come over to the window menu, you can see all these different things that you can see, like the bandwidth stats, the camera effects, comments, all these sorts of things. They're all just menu items up here. So these windows that you often just sort of toggle on and off, like the chat and things like that, these Ecamm windows that you can toggle off here. You can also do it in this window menu. So I have a Keyboard Maestro macro set up to basically open just the windows that I want. So when I'm live streaming, for example, I want the chat window open and the bandwidth and all those sorts of things. But if I'm just recording, I don't need that. So I have it's a different macro triggers for depending on what I'm using Ecamm for. But yeah, so that's how with custom shortcuts you can basically do that. If you're not a Keyboard Maestro user, you can just assign a keyboard shortcut to those profiles, just so that you can easily switch profiles with a little keystroke. This also works as well with overlays to a point. So if you have a look in your overlays or overlays menu, so I'm just coming back up to the top. You have to apologize if this is a bit small. I will have to apologize if this is a bit small, rather. So down here, you can see that you have got recently added overlays in this menu. So it's a bit of a workaround, but you can actually add keyboard shortcuts to some of the overlays if they are the sort of recently added ones. But anyway, so that is keyboard shortcuts. So I've dropped a link to that in the chat. But yeah, it's a great way to just sort of quickly hop between profiles. So that was asked by somebody in the group, so I thought I'd just mention it here. Another thing is about screen sharing. So with screen sharing, there was one feature that I didn't notice that was actually mentioned in explicitly in the release notes, and that is to do with system audio. So if I come back into demo mode and add a screen sharing overlay. So this is just doesn't really matter what it's of, but it's just my desktop. But if I click on the little button over here to the next to it, the little pencil to edit the overlay, you'll notice that there's this little toggle here, which is activate system audio capture. So if you've got something that you're sharing and you want to have the audio to play through, but most of the time you don't want it to play through, because that's something in preferences. There is a screen sharing section, and then you've got something down here which is basically to play audio. But now you can do that on a overlay by overlay basis. So here you could decide whether you want it to capture the system audio or not to have it play through. So that's just something to be aware of, because I think it wasn't explicitly mentioned in the release notes, and I sort of didn't mention it on my last one as well. Then there's another thing that I'm just going to highlight again here, because I've mentioned it before on the video, but it is one of these things that I'm sure people who are not aware of it, it's going to catch some people out, and they'll wonder what's going on. So it's related to when you are using the cropping feature. So just in case you are unaware, you can now crop. If you hold down the option on an overlay, you can now crop in. In fact, let me just get this out of the way and make it a little bit bigger. It is a bit small on the screen, isn't it? To apologize. There we go. So now I've got this overlay on the screen, and I'm holding down the corner or the edge, and it just resizes it. But if I hold down option while I'm doing that, then I can crop in. So say I was going to crop in on that particular app that we were just talking about there, I could crop in like that and then expand it out. The thing that is the sort of slight I say slight issue, but something that some people might encounter is if they want to crop it, say I've moved this window to the side slightly, and I think, oh, now I want to adjust my cropping. If I've been in that particular application and I move over to the Ecamm, and then you can see it highlights the overlay, and then I hold down the option and I go to crop it, the application disappears. And that's because of a feature of Mac OS, which is that if you are going from one app to another, if you option click into the app, it will actually just close the other app that you were in. So let me get that one back up. Keyboard, where was it? Shortcuts. There it is. So I'm in keyboard custom shortcuts. And then if I go over to my Safari window and I hold down the option key and click in Safari, then custom shortcuts will disappear. So that is a feature of the Mac, so that you can just click into one app and it will minimize the other if you want by holding down the option key. But the effect of that is if you are in if you're trying to resize or crop your overlays window, and then you come into the overlays, if you hold down the option key without first selecting into Ecamm, then that window will disappear. So all you need to make sure you do is, having moved this app around, just make sure you do come and actually sort of click somewhere into Ecamm, just to make sure that Ecamm is the active application. And then when you crop, then it's not going to have any effect on the other app. But if you are in that app and you hold down option and click into Ecamm, then it will disappear. So it's just something to be aware of, because I'm sure there'll be some people who will be wondering what's going on. But when I say some people, I mean I was. I mean I was until it was figured out. So that is one thing related to the screen sharing. Another thing related to screen sharing actually is about the green screen. Now, the green screen on the screen sharing, that's always a bit of a mouthful. We need to come up with a catchy name for that feature actually, because I never know whether it's green screen sharing or screen sharing green screen. But either way, it's a bit of a mouthful. So, but if you are doing that, so let me just come into, I'll add that overlay back in actually. There we go. So let me just bring this one up a little bit bigger so we can see. Doesn't matter if I cover my face, does it? In fact, it's probably better. So when you come onto the little pencil icon over at the left-hand side, you've got this option to toggle on green screen. Now, I use this with things like slides. So if I play the slides, this is actually the slides I did for the new version of Ecamm. So let me just play this in the window. Like that. So now I've got my my slides that are playing here, and it's green screen. I'm just going to toggle this one off a second, and then what I did with this was I had an overlay. So if I take off my lower third a minute, and I've got a screen sharing overlay. So now what's happening is I am actually sharing my my slides, this green screen slides, and I can prove that by toggling this one on and taking off the green screen. So I've basically got a green screen that is completely covering the the screen. So I'll toggle that one back on again, and then if I come to this keynote presentation and then I was to play that, then you can see that it's basically whatever is playing in the keynote is then playing over the top of the output. I've just realised I'm not actually I'm not actually in demo mode. I beg your pardon. That's a bit useless, isn't it? So there we go. That's what I was showing. I've got this these slides here. So this is basically my my keynote. Apologies for that. Let me just put this one. So I've got the screen sharing overlay. I'll just make that to play in window. And so what I was trying to demonstrate was that yeah, this is in fact covering the whole screen like that. And then anything that you play in Keynote will just then appear on the screen because it's just removing the green screen element. So that is basically how I'm using that. However, there is another little thing to it, which is kind of like an additional little feature, I suppose, which is if I bring that other screen sharing overlay back, I'll just get rid of this one a minute and hide this. If you are sharing a portion of the screen, so I'll pop this one back up. If you actually activate green screen when there is no green in the screen, then what happens is it actually just hides the background. So you can see how it's hidden the desktop. So if I was to put these here like this, in fact that one's a bit of a bad example because it has actually got some green in it. Let's go to this one instead. You can see that basically what's happened is activating the green screen has just eliminated the background image from it. So it's almost like an extra little feature, I suppose, that it just hides the background from view. If you toggle on green screen, then it's just totally removed that. So that's just worth pointing out. Hey Phil, how are you doing? Let me have a look. You can zoom into the cursor on the screen while in demo mode if it's turned on in accessibility zoom. Ah, right. Okie dokie. I'll let me do that now. I'll do that right now on the screen, and then everyone else can see how to do it. I was going to mention you today, actually, by the way. It's more like instant alpha for app window. It is, except it isn't alpha, so it is just sort of black. It's not. You can't see through it, I don't think necessarily. But yeah, I was going to mention you today, Phil, by the way, because I love the videos that you've done about the borders and things like that. So. I'll do a little demo and give a link out to your video on that one. Let me have a little look. Where's it gone? Accessibility and zoom. There we go. Use keyboard shortcuts. That one. Here we go. We'll see if this is working. Have I got the right thing toggled there? I probably shouldn't have done this live, should I? So that one is control, is it? Oh, there we go. That's the one. So it's I can select the key, but it is control at the moment. I did not know that, Phil, so thank you very much. I've just been using my little Pro Mouse cursor. What I normally do when I'm doing demos as well is actually, this is a 4K display, but I normally change it to 1080 and then it just looks a little bit bigger. But yeah, that's obviously a lot easier. So thanks for that, Phil. Right, where was I? So the green screen is definitely, I would say, one of my favorite features. And I was just talking earlier about the video stuff that I've been doing this week for some of my other things. And yeah, it's I use that with presentations so that the days of slides and stuff are a thing of the past, but it's good to be able to bring interactive content and stuff like that into videos so that you can to help demonstrate stuff. I know that Doc says that there's no need for slides, but there is a need for slides when you're actually trying to impart something that has got a lot of detail, and when you're talking about complex subject matter, sometimes little diagrams and bullet points do help to sort of burn those those things that you want people to remember into the mind. So yeah, but just coming back to your point, Rich, I will think about how I can sort of share some of this stuff so for people who are interested. Greg, it's the scroll option is easier. It is, yes. Oh, the scroll. Are you talking about the same thing there? You mean this one for zooming in and out? That is definitely a good little tip, though. That is, because yeah, it makes it much easier to to zoom in on a particular part of the screen. Yeah, so yeah, that's the other thing. It's like, and also being able to make custom slides and things like that in Keynote and then bring them into the Ecamm means that you don't end up sort of having lots of scenes and overlays and all that sort of stuff that are just sort of almost one-time use. But the green screen is just amazing because green screen green screen sharing, whatever it is, whatever we call it. It just makes it really easy to actually build these things on the fly. So I've got some templates in Keynote set up with certain things like where stuff will come in or different animations or things like that if I want to add those in. And then, yeah, it just makes it really easy to sort of make these things up on the fly, really. So the other thing that I was going to mention about was actually interview mode, because now we've got a custom URL, not custom URLs, but some customization, some white labeling that you can do on the interview mode. So if I just open up my interview mode window, and then I'll come into demo mode, and then I can actually just zoom in on this now, then, can't I? So there we go. So where am I zooming into? I'm zooming into the wrong place. Now this is interesting with zoom. I wonder if you can you actually zoom into? Can you pan and zoom once you are into it? Let me have a little look. I'll just try this. Is there a way to sort of pan and zoom around the zoomed area or not? Not sure. But anyway, so the interview mode, you've got these customizations that you can make to it now. I'm sure I was doing it earlier. Let me have a little look. Try and zoom up there. Not sure. So you can make some customizations to this in terms of dropping in a logo at the top and that's going to appear in the browser when the person clicks your link. And you can also add an image in there for people who are, when you send it out in email, it's a bit like a thumbnail, I suppose, something like that. There was just one point to note that the join link that you get, which is not displaying down here at the moment because I'm just live for some reason, but normally the join link would be down there. And although you can choose the extension, so if I come back into the settings, sorry, not the extension, the domain, you've got all of these different domains that you can now choose from. So bemyguest.tv, callmenow.tv, callmy.show, and so on. So you've got all of these different domains, but then the extension that's on the end of it, after the slash, is going to be your sort of unique number. Now, I think some people had thought that because you can actually rename this set of settings, then that this would actually be the link that you have like after the slash, but it is still just the number string or string of letters and numbers that you have. That is the link that you would actually send out. So what this does here, this name here, is if you're in the interview settings, then basically you can give the sort of page a title, and that will be what appears at the top of your interview link page when they go to visit your page. So that's how they've got the name. The name. I see Phil's just answering me. That's how you've got these different names. So I've got like Take One Tech and so on. So that's just the name of it as opposed to anything related to the link. And now, perfect, Phil. There we go. I've got a new toy. I've learned something new today. I'm really pleased you dropped on. There we go. So yeah, zoom and pan is so I'm using control to zoom and then move the cursor to the edge of the screen to sort of move around. It'd be good if there was a like a shortcut key you could assign to that, so that it would you could actually just sort of keep the mouse in one place and zoom and pan around that way. But anyway, I really appreciate that, Phil. Thank you. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to drop up my regular join link on here as well. So for anybody who fancies jumping on and actually chatting about anything, like what's your favorite feature of the latest version? In fact, I need to get rid of that, and then I'll get rid of that. And there we go. So if you go to takeonetech.io/join, if you want to jump on and have a chat about it. But there's so many new features. I mean, there's loads of stuff to do with text overlays, but I've made a conscious decision that there is a couple that know a lot more about text overlays than me. So anything that you've got to do with text overlays, Anna and Fulgens, they're the people to see about those. And I'll just mention, by the way, Phil, let me get, I haven't got the link. I'll drop your link in a little bit later, but I really loved what you had said about making the sort of different shaped borders. So if you've got a camera overlay, for example, like this, and then add an overlay for the screen sharing, and then if I just adjust these, you'll see what I'm doing. This was a brilliant idea from Phil. Just make that one slightly smaller, and then basically if I go and adjust the color of the screen sharing overlay, I could change the color of that, And then there you've got essentially, I mean, that's a really quick, you'd adjust the sizes of it and so on, but it's just a way that you can get basically a sort of double coloured border. And then I've not actually watched it, but I noticed just before I started, you've also dropped one in about the basically using transparency with that as well. So I thought that was a brilliant little idea that was to sort of get some better effects. I'm making a bit of a mess of this now. Phil demonstrated it a lot better on his video. Let's get that right. There we go. Is that about right? Make this one smaller. You get the idea. So it's basically to have sort of double line borders around your things, your overlays, and just sort of cheating it a little bit to get that effect. And then you just bring that one in like that. So there we go. So now I've got a double sort of border around it. So yeah, I mean, I don't know where to. I don't know which is my absolute favorite feature. I mean, the green screen ones are definitely up there because I use that all the time. But there's just so many really, and I still can't quite believe that this is actually just a sort of dot release. It's not a 4.0. So it makes me wonder what they've got planned for 4.0. If this is 3.9, they've got to have some pretty amazing stuff coming up. I mean, that ability to, I mean, I sort of glossed over it really, but the ability to white label interview mode is also like a really massive thing if you're using this thing for business, that you can send this out to people and it's not sort of much as we love Ecamm, it is nice to be able to have your own sort of branding and things like that on it if you're using it for that. I know people are actually now using like Ecamm for things like where they have one-to-one coaching calls or things like that. Then people, they just give them this link and it's yeah, now with the branding, it's it just looks really good. What else did we have in the update? There's been, so they added support for a whole range of new cameras as well. And then Sony have just released another one, didn't they? The A7 IV. So they've just added in support for the A7S III, and then Sony have just released the A7S IV. So I'm sure they'll be hard at work on adding in the compatibility for that. And what else did we have? There was a couple in there for updating things in terms of the camera effects. So that's a big one for me, is where you go in and you want to tweak something on the camera effects for one particular thing. Now they've also got it. In fact, let me just do another screen sharing here. It's easier if you're sharing an Ecamm window, a single Ecamm window, because you can just actually add that in as a single window. So if I do screen sharing, and then I'll come in here and add in my Ecamm. Clicking on the wrong button again. I've added a camera overlay, that's why. Silly Billy. So if I come in here and change this one to be my primary display, Ecamm camera effects. That's what I want. There we go. I'm sharing the right thing now. That always helps. So yeah, in the camera effects panel, I've changed my color there of my border, haven't I? I've got to correct that. There we go. So this is the camera effects panel in Ecamm, and they've basically added in down at the bottom. We've now got this particular thing here, apply to all scenes. So that means if you do some changes to your camera settings and things like that, or your color correction or whatever you're doing within Ecamm, then you can just now apply that to all scenes. So there was occasions when I'll do that and I'd think, oh, now I've got to go and apply it to everything. And also with things like green screen background. So if I've copied a profile over, then the backgrounds of a green screen for cameras are remembered on a scene by scene basis. So if I'd copied a whole thing over, but I wanted to change all of my backgrounds, then I would have had to have done it individually before, whereas now we can just do it all in one. So that's definitely a handy feature. And what else did they add in here? There was, oh yeah, also the rotate camera, which is obviously good for if you're using a top-down camera and things like that. Now, Rich is saying, have I tried exporting profiles and importing from one machine to the other? I haven't yet, actually. And I probably, I'll give that a go though, because I do have another machine here, so I'll definitely try that. My thing about the Stream Deck, by the way, is there's been a few people have asked me like to create profiles for them and stuff like that, but with like the Stream Deck. So with my Stream Deck, I've created. I'm going to be releasing an icon pack about this. I'm making it over this weekend actually, because with my Stream Deck, let me just show you what I have with my Stream Deck. I do share this one and come here and share this screen. So this is my my Stream Deck. This is what I'm using at the moment. So I've got a profile for when I do these videos, and then I've actually got a couple of pages of icons. But I've created my own custom icons for them just so that I can see a little bit more what I am actually looking at. So like this one with a sort of picture-in-picture, and then this one's the main scene. This one's demo mode. This one for top-down camera and things like that. That one if I want to put my mobile over the top of the screen and things like that. So I've created all these custom icons for different things that I do. So I'm going to make a more sort of generic one because these are obviously, I've just happened to have the colors that I use for my my channel on here, but I'm going to make a sort of generic set because although you do get, if I just come over to the profile for Ecamm, I keep saying this, but Ecamm, I've just got such an amazing plugin for Stream Deck. I think it's got to be the most complete plugin that you can actually get in terms of the functionality of it. So this is the sort of default profile that you get when you download the Ecamm plugin. And then just look at all these these actions that we've got for Ecamm Live. It's amazing. There's pretty much nothing that you can't trigger with this. There's a few things left out, but yeah. I'll come to that in a moment, Craig. Actually, yeah, there's an answer for that one. So yeah, the profile that comes with Ecamm is like this, and so you've got these different scenes and so on. Now it does obviously, I say obviously, when you actually activate a scene, it will show you a little small preview of what the scene looked like, so you can kind of see what it is. But lots of these other things, like if you're triggering overlays, it's hard to see like exactly what they are. So I did create custom icons for my my thing, so that basically, if I come into, where is it gone? This one, this profile. So it makes it just easier for me to see what's going on. And I also created the like the dual colors. So if you click in one of these, the ones for this was actually a question in the group where somebody said, why do the scene buttons need to be sort of dual states? So you can see that they've got these two different states, and the reason is because it'll actually show you the active scene. So if I click on one of these scenes, it will change to be the active scene. So if I click on that, you see that I'll come back again. It changes the state of it basically, so that you can actually see which is your active scene. So that's why they are dual state. So yeah, I'm going to make an icon pack for that over the weekend, and then that'll just have like a series of stock sort of layouts that you might have. Like for example, if I come onto this page, this is the sort of page that I tend to have for my live streaming. So I've got some different layouts here, like if it's like a 1 up, a 2 up, 3 up, or if I had all 4 guests on at once, then it'd be like that. So yeah, I've created these icons. But what some people have asked me for is to create them a whole series of profiles in Ecamm, or sorry, create them a profile with a series of scenes in Ecamm. But then also have a Stream Deck profile for it as well, related to all of the scenes. So it would be cool if you could actually just send somebody a zip file where they could import the profile into Stream Deck. By the way, if you weren't aware of that, you can just come into the preferences of Stream Deck, come into profiles, and then you can pick any one of your profiles. So if I wanted to export this one, I could just click on here and then right click and go to export. So that exports all the profile with all the actions and things like that. And then you can also come and import that. So it'd be great to be able to just send somebody a zip file that's got basically a Stream Deck profile that contains all the icons, and then also an Ecamm profile that has got all the scenes and overlays. So it's literally just be 2 files, and then have it that when they open it, it all works out of the box sort of thing. But at the moment, the Stream Deck links wouldn't necessarily work. So yeah, as I say, I'll keep digging with the Stream Deck stuff and integration, and then I'll get back to you. But just coming to your point, Craig, the question that you'd asked there. So. Whoops, that's the wrong one. That one. When you're using Pro Mouse, how do you get it to show up when you are in screen sharing mode? So basically, if you are sharing an app, if I change this now, I'm going to share. I'm actually going to share the Stream Deck app instead. So at the moment, I'm sharing my desktop, but I'm going to come and share the Stream Deck app like that. Okay, so always share. messed up the zoom a little bit, but you'll get the impression. I'm now moving my mouse over the screen, but you don't see my my Pro mouse, and that's because when you're sharing an app in Ecamm, it is basically sharing just that app. And as Pro Mouse itself is an app, then Pro Mouse won't show up. So the way that I do it is I basically, if you share the desktop and then crop in, then you will see the app. So this is now what I'm sharing is, whoops, I should come into demo mode probably. If I come into demo mode, then this window here that I'm sharing, this window up at the top, I should do my little zoom thing really, shouldn't I? There we go. Whoops. Yeah, so now what I'm doing is I'm sharing the primary display, but I've just actually basically just cropped into that particular area. So in that case, it's sharing everything, including the all the apps. So that's including Pro Mouse as well. So so yeah, that is that should resolve that problem. So yeah, it's sharing the desktop. So if I just come and reset that, you'll see what's going on. You can come to here and oops, where is it now? It's it's right click on it. Right click. I think that's something that I didn't necessarily mention. Now, where's my overlays menu gone? Ah, it's still zoomed in. That's why. Let me just hide this one. I've got to unlock the scene. Yeah. So if I reset the crop on that, you can see that I am hiding. I'm showing the whole desktop. And then yeah, so Pro Mouse is showing up there because it's got everything. Now I need to get this back. By the way, I did for anybody who is interested, I have got a free template that I created that's on my my website for this grid, basically for helping me to lay out my scenes. So if I just move that out of the way, I've got that just as an overlay. So it's a just a little overlay that's showing all scenes. And then if I come out of demo mode, you can see it's basically split up into sort of halves, quarters, thirds, whatever, and then it just means that when I reposition stuff, I can just drag it up and line it up with that side, and then drag the bottom corner and line it up with that side, and it just helps me to get my scenes all set up quickly. So I need to just actually do the cropping first on that, don't I? In fact, I forget exactly where it was. Never mind. Do it like this. 1 second. It just means that it makes it a lot easier to get things all lined up and sort of neat and tidy without worrying. I always used to do these things by eye, but it was never quite right. So now I can just drag that across to there, and then I've got my sort of screen sharing set up. So yeah, I'll drop a link to that as well in the chat. Yeah, so then I've just got a Stream Deck icon for that. In fact, if I come back to my screen sharing for a moment, which is this one. You see I've just got this little icon here, and this basically toggles the grid on and off. So that's what that is. Yeah, so let me have a little look, catch up with some of these comments. Can I share my profile? Do you mean my Ecamm profile or my Stream Deck profile? I am going to be making a profile that's both actually available on the website, so I'm going to get that all together. I'm just going to tidy it all up because at the moment my Stream Deck profile is a little bit sort of bespoke for just the sorts of things that I'm doing. So I'm going to create one that's just basically got lots of different icons for specific, sort of scene layouts that you may have, and then yeah, I will be doing a sort of a general Ecamm profile as well. So, but like I say, I just need to get it all sorted out. That's the recovering perfectionist in me that I need to have these things sorted before they're released. But right, that's handy. Of course, I didn't know that, Paul. The join link that was coming back to when I had the interview mode and I was talking about the join link. It doesn't show up in interview mode, in demo mode. I never knew that, Paul. That is pretty obvious that it shouldn't, and it doesn't. So yeah, but I never knew that. Thank you. Let me have a little look. What else we've got here? I've got caught up with some of these, but I've obviously skipped over some of them. Profile export import works great. Just have to remember to make a file of any assets, fonts, music used in the profiles. I'm not sure about that one. Just have to remember to make a file of any assets, fonts, music, etc. So it used to be that when you would export scenes, it wouldn't export all of the music and stuff like that. But in this version, it actually contains all of the videos, all the music, and everything in that package. So I don't know if I'm misunderstanding what you're saying there, Paul. I perhaps might have got the wrong end of the stick with that one. But with the latest one, basically it encapsulates everything to do with that particular profile in one single file. So that's actually something to be aware of. If you have got like large video files or something like that are part of the profile, then it will export all of that as well, and so you'll end up with quite a large file. So these profile files can be quite large. But I don't know if I'm understanding your point there. I might have got that wrong. So now you can crop into an area of the screen you want to share. Make sure you click to Ecamm, the active app. That's it. That's correct. Yeah. The screen sharing, it's what they've added with the overlays. I mean, I haven't opened, I don't know if anyone else was using NDI, what was it called? It's that long ago since I've used it, because I've been on the beta. I've forgotten. What is it? NDI HX Capture, is it? But anyway, yeah, I've not been using that at all since this beta. Since the beta, and now with the latest release as well. It's just basically sort of transform the way that we can now do screen sharing in Ecamm itself. So yeah, definitely a massive improvement. I mean, there's a big thing about it being a game changer, and it really is. I think it makes it a lot more accessible for people to just do everything that they want in the app itself. So hi Michael, how are you doing?
I'm doing well, thank you.
Great to see you again.
And I'm not muted.
No, you're not. I've got the mug ready though.
Oh, okay.
Just in case.
Yeah, it was wonderful last night. I had a great time.
Yeah, so Michael just did his first live stream to YouTube yesterday. Not his first live stream, but first live to YouTube.
Yeah, and now I have a couple of questions for you that you've already touched on.
Cool.
I am trying to take my profiles and etc. over to the MacBook.
Right,
and
right.
They come over fine, and you see.
Hi, Greg. Just say a quick hello.
Hey. All in there. When I hit a background, it doesn't show up. I have to reload it into Ecamm, this with the exact same name.
Just sorry, I missed a little bit of that. Just tell me that again. When you do what? Sorry.
Okay, all right. I've got a folder of backgrounds, like your blue one there.
Yep.
Behind your picture.
Okay. Yep.
When everything came over to the MacBook, except, I mean, all the menus are there, and I can see the names of the background. You know, the gray background that I use, and but when I click on it, you can't see it unless you reload it into Ecamm.
I see. Right.
Even though it's the exact same name, so I have to reload it into Ecamm and kill the one that the profile brought over. And I did bring the folder of all my assets over to the MacBook too. So I mean, it should have known where to find it. Except that it's a different computer, and I'm wondering if it's saying, you know, is it in the same place, or does the computer itself call it the same thing?
Is that just the ones that appear in the show in all scenes? Is it just those ones?
So far that's all I've been working with. Yes.
I wonder if that might be if it's something like the ones that are showing the background as opposed to showing. So it's your background image. Sorry, is it?
Yes.
Yeah.
The background image.
I wonder if that could be. I wonder if that might be a bug or something, because technically, with me certainly, I know that it's brought in all the assets as well. So, but I've not actually checked that one. So,
well, it does bring in all the assets.
Yeah,
I mean, it shows them in the menus on my overlays menu.
Yep.
But when I click on them to show behind my picture,
Yep.
they don't come up. I have to
Right.
reload it in.
Right.
And I believe some of my overlays were the same way. That I, the buy me a coffee and whatnot.
Yep.
But I'm not sure. I haven't finished playing around with it because I'm trying to get that one all set up and ready to back up, so that when the new one gets here, I just have to put it over. But at any rate, I have had that problem, and I don't know that it's a problem.
I'll do a bit of digging about that, because I'm sure it should technically just bring everything in. That was kind of the point of them. So I'll have a little investigation.
Yeah. Well, it brought the menu in with all the proper names, but when you click on the name, it didn't bring the actual image.
Got you.
Even though I have a folder of all of the assets on my computer, so that I don't have to go look for them. Like a lot of times you'll see Doc will drag an asset onto the screen to show it.
Yeah.
But if he throws that asset in the trash when he gets off and comes back on, it won't find it.
Yes. Yeah.
So I have a folder with all my assets on the computer, and I tell it that's where they are. Go find them there. Yeah. So anyway, that was the way that happened. Hello, Greg.
Hey, congrats, Michael. I'm sorry I didn't get to catch your stream. I saw it in the feed, and I'm like, oh, cool. I clicked to go into it, and I was like, oh, it's over already.
Yeah, well, you can catch it on replay.
I will watch the replay. Yeah, I'm actually testing exporting my profile as well to see what happens.
Yeah. Alec made it a good show. He came in and helped by asking questions, and actually did a lot of demonstrating too, that I'm sure was helpful to a lot of people. And Doc came to it, and I was really excited about that. And now I have to go to Hawaii.
You're sort of committed to going to Hawaii.
I thought about it overnight, and I just said, you know what? I'm going to do it. Yeah. I'm going to go to Hawaii.
Nice.
But I have to meet him. I'm sorry. I just have to meet him.
Is there a reason to not just keep using the beta, by the way?
I'm still using the beta. If you are a beta user, then definitely just stay on that path, because there'll be more things coming out. It's just that 3.9 is kind of the official release, or whatever you call it. That's not the right term. But yeah, that's now just exactly the same as the latest beta. But then obviously there'll still be some more things coming down the pipe, I'm sure.
Whoa, what's going on here?
Oh,
no, Jeff. Tell Jeff I'm not going by Cessna.
I can still see you. I can still see you. I don't know if you're having issues on your side, Greg, but we can still see and hear you.
Oh, I was trying to. Somehow it was playing a scene in Ecamm, and I was like, "What the heck's going on? Why is it playing music?"
Oh, right.
Wait, how do you import a profile? Did you say?
If you're into Ecamm, if you've exported it, just double click on it, and it will just bring it in and make it the main profile.
But will it? If Ecamm's open.
Yeah,
or it would open it, presumably. I've not actually tried it with Ecamm Shop. Now you mentioned that.
It does.
Yeah.
Double clicking it will open Ecamm.
I just don't want it to open in the beta. All right, good. It did open in. Yeah, that worked. All right,
and
cool.
That copy and paste, I think, is really useful as well. Just being able to copy and paste stuff, but it actually working between profiles as well, so you can copy in one and move to another profile and then paste.
Oh, but you're right. The Stream Deck did not bring over the way it was set up. That was what messed me up. I was live in my show, and I was like, "Oh, I'll use the normal one," and then I'm like, "Oh no, none of my stuff was in the Stream Deck," and I was like, "Oh yeah."
I had exactly the same thing, and I opened up, and thought, "What's going on? Nothing's working. What's wrong?" Because it looked identical, but obviously it just wasn't quite mapped to the same thing. So,
right. So, what'd you think of the Apple stuff? By the way, I don't think I remember seeing a video.
I didn't make a video about the Apple stuff. No, it's just pretty awesome, isn't it? Really. Yeah. I mean, I think they've answered a lot of the complaints, like bringing back all the ports and things like that. Is
yeah.
Yeah.
I did the stepping process basically. So I'd gotten the lowest end M1 Mac Mini.
Yeah.
And I thought they were going to bring a new one out. I was like, okay, maybe they'll bring a new one out. But the problem is probably 20% of the time I need my laptop, and I sold my previous MacBook like a few weeks ago or a couple months ago. So I just didn't, it's like random things. Like I want to be upstairs instead of having to be in my office, or I go to a meeting and I'd like to do some work and I just don't have my laptop anymore. So I ended up switching now to the 14-inch, and I traded in my Mac Mini. They gave me like 600 something bucks out of like 800. So
that's pretty cool. Yeah.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, that is good. I was all for. I'd waited for ages to get a new MacBook, and then when I got this Mac Mini, I'm now thinking like, do I need it? I'm just here all the time. I'm not sure now, so should I bother? But then
I was pretty close to that, to be honest. But that I was noticing like that it's either like don't stay upstairs with the family or have my laptop and I can be upstairs. Random things like that, and I was like, that's not worth it. So yeah.
So were you on a 15-inch before, and you've gone to the 14?
I've always been on a 13-inch.
Oh, okay, right.
My favorite MacBook or Mac laptop is the 11-inch Air, which they don't make anymore.
Right. Oh, cool. Well, I've always had the 15, but I was thinking, well, now it's instead of 13 and 15, it's now 14 and 16, and I could probably go down to a 14. That would probably be for the portability of it. But I was always doing things with like spreadsheets.
I think the chassis is pretty close to the same size.
Yeah, I think so.
14-inch screen is still a 13-inch size chassis. It's just that the screen has got more space.
No bezels, yeah.
Yeah. So now I have the new challenge of figuring out how to use my laptop open with my two monitors.
Yeah.
So
you could leave it shut. If you
could, but I'm like, wait, did I just really buy this like amazing screen, like high refresh rate, like everything, to then have it closed the whole time, right?
Yeah.
So I ordered the Elgato, the low profile arm today. Because I think the way I have my thing set up, how do I change my camera? I can show that here. Yeah, I can. If I go to this, you can sort of see I have this arm. Oh, did that work? No, there. Yeah, I have that's my face cam up there.
Yeah.
And I have a Rode arm coming right out in front of me, and my camera's like right here.
Got you.
So I'm thinking to put the laptop in the middle and just move the monitors over a little bit more. And so now I'll have the middle more open, but I won't have here. So hopefully I'll bring the mic from this table or something over to me.
Let me just, there we go. We get the proper wide shot now. There we go. That's pretty cool.
Yeah, thinking about, I'll get rid of the PSA 1 and just move this onto the low profile this way.
Yeah.
Right? And then I can move these monitors a little bit out, and then have my laptop actually in the middle, and I could use that as my main thing that I'm working on, and then have periphery stuff kind of on the side.
Yeah. I like your lights that you got on the floor, by the way, the two colored lights on either side.
Yeah, they're cheap. They're like those little floodlights. I know Doc will probably say, you should get video lights, but
yeah, they look cool.
It's what I got for now, right?
Yeah,
and I just on the ground. My dog likes to eat them. But on the rotating, they have like a color mode.
Right.
So they're constantly changing, so they're never the same.
Yeah. Yeah, it's a cool. I like that wide shot. It's a cool wide shot that is.
It's a face cam. Elgato face cam is pretty great, right? But I will tell you, one of the things I've been hoping for now is that camera, the face cam, needs a powered dock. Like otherwise, it's really sluggish. It's super sluggish. And for some reason, you would think the powered USB-C dock port on the monitor would be able enough to feed it. It's not. So I'm hoping the new MacBook Air laptop will be able to have enough juice going, so I don't have to buy a dock still.
Yeah. Oh, hey, David. Popping in. Nice to see you here. Another one of the LGL crew.
There you go.
So how long have you got to wait for your MacBook, did you say?
November 5th. they said. Yeah.
And you've got the 16-inch of you, Michael.
Yes.
Oh, you got your 16. Did you get the new one, Michael?
Yeah, because I had a 16-inch. And if you remember in one of Doc's, I think it was office hours, he was talking about, trading every 2 years is the smart thing to do business-wise. And I've had the 16-inch for 2 years. So I went ahead and bit the bullet and got the
Did you trade it in?
Newest one. Yes,
did you trade it in? Or? Oh, good.
Yeah, I did. And they gave me $1,400 for it. So it wasn't bad.
Oh, that's not bad. I think you have to catch it on the gaps, right? Because there's not a new Mac Mini yet, so hence, I think this one's still worth a lot more than the second the newer one comes out. Then it'll be
you're right.
Because it's so cheap that you probably lose another $200 off. Then you're better off selling it on your own, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Did you get the Max, Michael?
Yeah, yes, I did. I got the M1 Pro Max.
Oh, wow. I couldn't rationalize that in my own brain.
Yeah. Well, see, well, because of what they gave me from my other one, it made it a little easier of a bite.
Yeah, that's true.
But I do a lot of video editing and I work with After Effects. And when I'm not home and I take it with me and I want to do some of that, the better, the more power, the better.
Yeah, no, I hear you. I got the Max, the highest capacity Pro one. So basically not the Max chip, but the middle sort of tier there.
Yeah.
So it was still 300 more, but it wasn't 800 more or whatever the next thing was.
I wasn't expecting that Max at the announcement. When they went through and they started talking about the M1X, I just thought this is amazing. And then they said and then we got something else. It's whoa.
Yeah,
it was the one more thing. Right?
The one more thing, yeah.
And actually, mine is due on the 2nd of November.
November? So, that's nice.
Well, see, I ordered it while they were still doing the demo on the.
I tried to, but the site was broken. You couldn't even get through with the order in. Actually, I got the order in, but trying to get them to give me the credit for my old computer kept crashing. So that was actually the part that was holding me up from placing the order.
Yeah, well, I got the I got it in, and now I understand that people that try to order them now, they're looking at December and January.
Right.
David, how much is that laptop going to be? $7,000?
No.
No, David's just dropped into the chat. He's getting the M1 Max
64 gig. But what size screen?
I got the 16-inch.
You got 16-inch. Yeah. No, I won't have 4 screens. Someone's asking if I'll have 4 displays. I'll have 3.
The 2 and then the laptop.
$42.99. That's. I mean, it's expensive, but wait a minute, that's cheaper than I thought because I thought I saw the maxed out one. Oh, maybe it's the 2 terabyte drive, the hard drive.
That'll be it. Yeah. The drive adds quite a lot, doesn't it? Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I only went with a terabyte because, like Doc says, you can get fast external drives. I don't need everything packed into the. Plus, I learned a long time ago when you're editing video that the actual video you're editing should be on an external drive, not on the same drive that the program is on. So I've always done it that way.
Yeah, swap disk.
Does anybody know if they have any Thunderbolt extra or Thunderbolt 4 drives available yet?
So I haven't seen them. Try getting a Thunderbolt. I've been trying to buy that stupid
the CalDigit. Yeah,
you can't even buy the dock. It's just it's just been sold out, and you just have to pre-order and cross your fingers that you get a chance to be lucky enough for them to take your money.
Yeah, well, I got the dock, and but I was looking for an external drive that might be Thunderbolt 4, and I haven't seen any yet.
Yeah, I haven't researched that too much either. I put everything in Dropbox and I sync it off to the cloud. I don't edit video because I only do live streaming. Okay. I'm like Alec. Actually, Alec does make real videos, though. Alec makes real videos.
Hi, Neil.
Hey there.
Hi, nice to see you. I've seen you in the chat, obviously,
Nice to
but
see you
first
too.
time speaking. So yeah, great.
How's it going?
Yeah, very good, very good. Are you in on the Mac upgrade cycle?
Say again, sorry?
Have you been looking at the new Macs at all?
Yeah, I've been looking to try and get a new... there's a bit of a delay. I don't know what the issue
right.
is. Sorry. I was...
We can hear you. I think you just need to talk. Don't worry about it.
I think if you mute the actual the stream that's going out in YouTube and then listen from the browser that the interview mode's in, that there's usually a bit of a delay between that one and the actual the one that's coming through on the interview mode browser, if that makes sense. There may be perhaps a bit of lag.
No, I understand. Yeah, fine. Thank you for using the interview mode. Yeah, so yeah, the upgrade for Mac, I've got my iMac running Ecamm on, and it's 2017, so it's old.
Yep.
I just think if anybody's using the new Mac or the Mac Mini one, I'm interested in, and I just if you are using it, what's the performance like with the...
You're breaking up a little bit, but I'm basically using the absolute base model Mac Mini. So it's just the 8 gig one with 256 gig hard drive, and then I've got an external 2 terabyte drive on it. But I've not had any issues with it whatsoever. So yeah, even like I think at this stage, any M1 Mac is good to go with Ecamm. I mean, I was using a much older laptop before that, but yeah, it's any of them Ecamm will work fine on.
Great. Sorry for pick up on the stuff. I'm not sure. I'm trying a new internet and it's working fine. Fortunately, it's to be playing up today.
Right.
As I'm trying to join in the chat. Oh, sorry about that.
That's all right. It's typical. It's whenever you actually need, it's crucial. Then it's. I never had any problems with my internet here in the Thailand for like 10 years, and then suddenly, as soon as I started doing live streaming, I've had more problems in the last sort of 3 months than I've had in 10 years before.
Yeah, it doesn't matter.
Yeah, so
once you need it.
That. Definitely.
Alec.
Yeah.
When I'm looking at the comments here, is there a way I can respond to them? I don't see a place where I can type.
I don't think you can respond to them in the chat that is on the interview mode window. No.
Oh,
and
okay.
in fact, I can't do that from Ecamm because I'm using Restream as well. So, yeah.
Well, I wanted to say good night to Jeff, and I wanted to thank Eileen for her congratulations.
Oh, I missed that one. Oh, yeah. I see. Where's Eileen? Lost her in the chat somewhere. Yeah, good night, Jeff. Thanks for stopping by. He's in the UK as well. So, yeah, we'll see you in office hours on Sunday. So, Loud Liberation. Should I use Ethernet or Wi-Fi connection with Ecamm? I have the fastest internet speed, by the way. Always use Ethernet if possible. Yeah, and ideally, if you use something like Speedify, you can actually use Ethernet and your Wi-Fi together, and then it sort of combines them to get even faster speeds. So, but yeah, definitely, if you've always got the option of using it, then always use Ethernet if possible. And Neil, how are you finding the latest Ecamm update? Have you been using that one, or are you sort of upgraded yet? And what's your favorite feature of that?
So I was a beta. I'll try it before it live, and I'm using it just a little, trying to do and on live stream. I think I've done some basic tutorials like that. So overall, I'm liking it. It's got some great, especially plays and the runners, and just makes the graphics much more how to use. So yeah, overall it's I think.
Yeah, much easier to get set up and running with it, isn't it? And what sort of videos do you make, by the way, Jeff? What sort of videos do you make?
Oh, me, sorry. Yeah, I thought you said sorry.
Sorry, we've got a bit of a delay. What sort of videos are you making, Neil?
Oh, great. Yeah, I thought you meant to somebody else. I do a few tutorials, Final Cut, and video and things like that.
Oh, cool.
I work IT, it's sort of main passion, but videography are my passions outside of work stuff. And yeah, I've been doing it now a few years, just a small channel. I have as much time as on it to grow, but it's just great fun all the time.
Yeah, it's great to do a YouTube channel on something that's a passion. Since I started this channel, because I'm obviously talking about stuff that I love, I find that it's dominating a lot of my mind space more than I was anticipating. I'm always thinking about it. It's nice to be able to make videos about stuff that you love. How's your stuff going, Greg? I've got a few of your replays to catch up on. I've got to confess, I've not caught them live, and so I've got to go back and watch the replays.
Oh, good. I know we're at we have many time slots, but they're all probably challenging for you to make in person. Yeah. Show has been good. We're up to 3 shows a week now. So been busy. I'm actually doing show notes right now for old episodes that I forgot to post for a couple of weeks back. Busy fundraising. So been talking to investors for the new company and just getting ready. Next week, we actually have Kevin O'Leary on Zealous.
Cool.
Running a pitch competition. So Shark Tank style with 5 female founders. So should be fun. I think it's Wednesday we have him.
Right.
One of our users is hosting him. So
is that one of your normal time slots, is it? Or
no, it's not on my show, actually. I'll be there, and I'm helping them run the event, but it's one of our users is actually hosting him on Zealous, so it's a very different experience.
Right.
It's not me running the show this time; it's someone else running the show.
Yeah. Yeah, that'd be really interesting.
Yeah, it should be fun. And then hopefully, if it goes well, hopefully we'll be live streaming to his channel. Actually, so that'd be really cool.
And how about you, Michael? When's your next live stream planned for? Having just got the first one out of the way.
Actually, I just had some ideas today about one, so it could be very shortly. But I'm also making up some upload type videos.
Yeah.
To start getting stuff on, because I have to go back and watch your video on how to use TubeBuddy, because I can't figure out how to put in my videos into the end card.
Oh yes, yeah.
And so I'm going back, because you did do quite a video on TubeBuddy once.
Yeah, I did do one on that. Yeah, but if you get stuck, let me know.
Yeah,
are those good? Should I be doing?
I will.
I haven't done any of them yet.
Say that again. Sorry.
Should we be doing that? Like, I haven't done any.
What
does it do them automatically? No.
Putting the end cards? No, it doesn't.
Yeah.
But you can set up like a template or have a default one, but it's basically just what it's going to recommend for people like at the end of the video. But you can just have it set to do like an automatic choice. So basically, it will just pick whatever's best for the viewer. So I tend to have like on my end cards, I've usually got 2 videos. One of them is one that YouTube picks, whichever is best for that viewer. So they'll just decide which one they're most likely to click on. And then I usually put another one, which is basically the playlist of whatever playlist I'm putting that video that I've just played in is. So
I didn't know you could do that.
And then you can also, I also have the subscribe button on the end as well. So for people who've watched to the end, and I think most people
probably set that for the whole channel, or do you have to set that per video?
You do it per video, but if you set it to things like defaults, like you could have a recommended playlist and a recommended video and a subscribe button, and then just as you're going through the upload process, just have it add it. It's one of the sort of steps you go through when you upload the video. I think
We're
on like
four.
the
We're 4 subscribers away from 100.
third. Oh, that's cool. Well, I think I've subscribed to you 4 times on 4 different
I think
channels.
you subscribe to as many times as you possibly can. Yeah.
That's cool though. But yeah, so the end card's just sort of part of the upload process. You can do it in TubeBuddy though as well, depending on the level you're on, where you can sort of bulk apply these things, so you can apply them to all videos.
Cards.
That'll be the one. Yeah.
Ooh, bulk end screen.
That's the one. Yeah, bulk end screens. Yeah. So the cards are the little ones that just come up in the top.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Find link elements, video elements.
Thank you, David. He's saying don't forget to like, subscribe, and share, and comment. I often forget to say that.
I always like.
Could I just?
Sorry. Yes.
Go on, Neil.
Just a quick question on TubeBuddy you mentioned.
Yeah.
What level of TubeBuddy do you have to be able to do what you're doing now? Is that the sort of the top level, or?
A lot of it you can do on the standard one. Let me just get it up, because I was on the lowest level of TubeBuddy, and then it was when I was in Leap into Live, they had an offer on where you could get 3 months or something of the legend level, which is the top level. And I'd never bothered with it before, but it was having tried it, it is pretty amazing actually. Some of the extra features, like the bulk find and replace. I don't know if you were earlier, but I mentioned that I had. Oh yeah, of course you were. I mentioned about doing the find and replace on my descriptions, and it's that's something that's in the legend level. Let me just quickly grab it up, and I'll have a little look at the pricing. They've got, I think, is it 3 levels? Yeah, they've got 3 levels, and the main difference, I suppose I should be sharing this, shouldn't I? Let me come into this one.
You need to use the video editor to add end screens? No.
No, you don't need to. Okay. If you're going to have like a custom image or something, like at the end of when I do the end of my live my videos, I've got like my picture on one side and then like a little boxes where the videos would go on the other. So in that sense, you would need to have that built into your video. But if you're just going to have them pop up on the screen, then that's done in the just in YouTube itself.
Okay.
Let me switch over to this one. Oops, Daisy. And what I'll do is I'll just drag this one over here and change this one. There we go. We've got us all back. I'll put me as a little box somewhere else. Put me up there. Right. So where was TubeBuddy gone now? Just closed it down. I just did the little trick that I mentioned not to do earlier about pressing the option. So these are the pricings for TubeBuddy, and it's basically $7.20 a month for the Pro. But if you've got less than 1,000 subscribers, then it's 50% off. So it's like $4 or something, $3 something. This one $15.20 and $39 for Legend level. So what's the difference? There is a free version, and then so what's the Pro one is $7.20 a month or $4 or $3 something. So scheduled publish and scheduled video update. So the scheduled publish one, I mean, you can actually do that in YouTube itself. So I wasn't really bothered about that one because you can just upload them and then set a time that you want them to go out. Scheduled video update, I'm not exactly sure what the difference is with that one. It's to change. Oh, I see. So you're going to change the features. I see. So if I cunningly knew when the next version of Ecamm was coming out, I could change my things that where it says beta to just the actual release. Let's have a little look. Sunset videos, so if you want to take some down. I will be taking down some of my videos because like as I'm going to make some more about Ecamm, because all of the old ones that I've done about Ecamm are where I'm telling people to go and make overlays in Keynote are pretty irrelevant now, for some of them at least, that aren't video overlays or something. So you can have it sunset video, so it takes them down. What else is different? So yeah, the bulk features. So this is it: the bulk copy, bulk end screen, bulk delete, find and replace. It's not available in the Pro version, which is the cheapest level, but it is available in the middle one. So you don't need to go to Legend. It's $15.20 per month for the Star level, which has got all of those bulk features. So Legend has got auto translator and tag translator. I didn't know that. Oh, and video A/B testing. Yeah, so I'm going to be playing around with some of that, with basically testing different thumbnails and things like that to see which ones are actually working. And publish to Facebook. That's another one that I've started doing. So rather than, I used to just post a link to Facebook of the YouTube video, whereas now I actually publish them natively to Facebook. So that's built in with the star and legend level. And then what is this? So then it seems like legend is a few features. I'm not sure. I don't really use these actually. So the click magnet I use. That one is quite interesting. Let me just quickly show you what that is. If I bring up TubeBuddy and then come over here, there's this feature just up in the top corner. Where has it gone? So if I click on this menu and then click on, where's it gone? Tools. Then this one, click magnet. This is quite interesting actually. So you can see what's, I think I've showed this one on my last live stream actually, but it's worth having a little look again. So it just does a little bit of analysis of your videos. And then you can look at things like conversion rates, click-through rates and stuff like that. But it goes into a lot more depth than the built-in sort of analytics. Just taking a little while. Doesn't normally take quite this long. But one of the ones that was interesting here was, I'll show you when it eventually pops up, is about looking at the thumbnail. So it actually analyzes your thumbnails for you. So if I go into Element Inspector, and then it's this one where you can see the click-through rate, whether you've got faces or no faces in your videos, or if you go onto this one, emotions, it's actually looking at the pictures and deciding what the emotion is on my face. And I'm either happy, surprised. I've got a few that are calm now, apparently. And I've not been disgusted, confused this time, or angry. But you can see the click-through rates. And so that sort of like YouTube surprise face, it does work. It's the highest click-through rate. So I've got to try and get a little bit more emotional and put some different emotions in there and see what happens. But it's quite interesting, that is. Also the size of the picture, you can see whether it works best with a like close-in shot or further zoomed out shot. It looks like the closer in my face is, the less click-throughs I get, which sort of makes sense to me. And then text versus no text, all of mine have got text in, but also the text in the titles as well. So you can see that this makes sense. Stream Deck in the title is my highest converting. That makes sense on just my videos in general, but I think that's because there are just so many more Stream Deck users in general than like potentially sort of Ecamm and so on. It's like Ecamm's almost like a subset of Stream Deck. So, but yeah, it's just got all the words that use that work best. So it's quite an interesting feature, that one is. So that is this.
Really powerful. Yeah,
it is really powerful. Yeah, and I didn't go into. There's another part of that actually. If I go into this click magnet again, it won't take as long to load now. And then you can go back out of here. You can look at this one's good as well. CTR, click-through rate opportunities. So what that one does is it looks at the. It's looking at where you've got a video that's got really good engagement once people get onto it, but that also has a low click-through rate. So there's something that people aren't clicking on it, but once people get on it, they're staying on it. So these are basically prioritized in where is the most room for improvement in terms of the getting people. So this is a low click-through rate of 2.6 compared to my other ones. But once people get onto this video, they actually stay on it for longer. So it sort of implies that the content's good, but maybe my thumbnail or something needs to be worked on. So I thought that's quite an interesting little take on it and an interesting little tool to allow you to make some changes. There's also this advanced analytics, which goes into sort of clicks, views, the average duration that people have stayed on it, and so on, click-through rate and so on. And then you can do all sort of filtering on this as well, like look at last 7 days or whatever.
When you use those end screens, though, just to understand how this all goes together.
Yeah.
You edit the video inside of here, or like TubeBuddy will like help you edit it to do those changes?
TubeBuddy end screens. Let me have a little look where they are.
Even like if they're recommending the A/B test, is it like you give it different images? And
so A/B testing is in here as well. Video A/B testing. So what that one is you basically, it opens up in this for some reason. Thought it opened up in the same window. There we go. So if you create an A/B test, you basically just pick a video and then you can choose if you want to do a thumbnail test. You just click on that one, and then you basically add in the you say how long you want it to run for. So you can say how long you want it to run for, or you can, if I come back out of that, you can also just do it to say run it until you've got some statistically significant results. But if you select that, for example, and then click continue, then you just upload another thumbnail. So that's basically going to do a thumbnail test between those two, and it'll tell you after 14 days or whenever it's statistically significant which one is the best, basically. But what you can also do is, if you cancel that, I'll just do it again. So what you can also do is, rather than change the thumbnail, you can say you want to do a metadata test. And so in this one, you can basically choose different descriptions and things like that. And it will still ask me for the thumbnail, but there you can test the tags and things like that, and the descriptions and the title.
Oh, so you can test like everything.
Yeah, basically. But just obviously bear in mind to test one thing at a time, as opposed to change the thumbnail, the title, the description, and everything. But you can just keep everything the same and just change, like, tweak one little thing. But yeah, you can change. Up here, you've got basically all of the different aspects that you might want to change. So yeah, I've got to do a bit more playing around with this one. I've not actually used it yet, so I've gone through the process of looking at it without actually creating anything different to try out with it. But yeah. So that's bulk processing as well. You can update things, so you can do that from here. So the bulk processing, but also it is just, if I come out of this one, why is that not showing down? There we go. It's also up here. Bulk tools is up here as well. Oops, it's not showing up on my screen, but it's on the output at least. That's funny. Don't know what's happening.
I was going to say there is a ton of stuff on TubeBuddy. I do have the pro version, the cheapo version, because obviously I'm under 1,000 subscribers, so they take pity on us, of course, for that, which is nice. But one thing I did find really useful is the keyword research tool and the descriptions, because I did a bit of testing on that myself, and I got lucky with a couple of videos where they sort of ramped up quite quickly in terms of numbers of views and things, and it's only because I was looking at the descriptions and trying to find something that wasn't, well searched for, but not heavy competition, and that's a really good sort of thing to start looking at. But you could drive yourself crazy, I think, with TubeBuddy, with all the analytics and everything. You could spend all the time on TubeBuddy and never create a video ever again, I think.
Yeah,
but I think it's
good once you've got some content as well, just to be able to, like, going back and reviewing. I'm glad I didn't sort of start with this, because I would have been, looking at it after my first two videos. Yeah. But when you've got a few, it's quite good. But to your thing about the keyword thing, that's what I was using it for, really, for the first however long I was just on the regular version. And it's this as well. Right. I like these sort of best practices, telling you to go and add these things. It's like a little coach that sort of helps you through it. But then also in the tags, I like the way that even just here, even without going into the tag research tool, just the fact that it's constantly sort of recommending tags, and you can search them by relevance, keyword score, and things like that. So you can just literally choose tags from here to add in as well. The other one is like being able to, once you've got a selection of tags, you can import those. You can copy them, and then you can create a little list out of them. So then you can create a new tag list. So then when you're going into a new video, you can just import a specific tag list. So it's got loads of. The base level is just really, really good, and like I say, that's all I was using. It was only because I got this free trial of it that I tried the Legend. But if it's paid for itself with adding those links into the bottom, do you add links into your? Do you use Amazon affiliates?
I started doing them, and then I didn't get enough traction with them. And Amazon affiliates only let you use it for a certain period of time, and then they'll say, "Sorry, you've not had enough click-throughs on this." So I keep trying and things like that. But I sometimes get a couple of clicks here and there, but it's very few and far between. I should be pushing my videos more. I think I was reading somewhere that YouTube is sort of deprioritizing tags now within your videos, so they don't place as much importance in terms of search criteria and so on. So I think it's the description, the title,
Yeah.
And the keywords are the sort of the primary factors now. And people still put tags in. I still do, because it's interesting to see where you rank within the certain tags when you put them in your video descriptions and things. But I think it's not as important anymore, according to YouTube anyway, at least.
Right. I'm just catching up with the comments, because I just realised I've had them covered all this time with my my browser. Rich is asking, have I done A/B tested titles too? Oh, sorry, no, he's saying you can do that. Yeah, you can do A/B testing on everything. And do I have a discount code? I didn't have a discount code. How did it happen? Because I actually contacted them, because they had an offer where it was basically if you sign up for TubeBuddy, but I was obviously already signed up. So I'll message you about it though, Rich. And a couple of comments there. Let me see if I can get those out. The trouble is, Rich is not having the mods. We don't actually have mods. I need to add a few more people in. In fact, the only mod that I've got is actually on this. So let me just remove that. So getting ready to ramp up another 24/7 live stream. Interesting. Are you really, David? You're doing it at 24/7? Oh, I missed something there. I didn't know about that.
That's crazy.
I've got to rebuild that stream machine. I'm not sure. Yeah. So did you do one before then, David? A 24/7 live stream? Yeah, that sounds.
How does that work?
I don't know.
It works for a day.
Like, do you have like people with you, and so how do you go to the bathroom and stuff?
That is tricky. I suppose you can't see me from the waist down. You never know what's happening, do you?
Right.
Done that, Rich. I'm just just applying moderator status.
That's how you do it.
Yeah, be right back.
And in fact, if you'll excuse me for a second, I will be right back.
Unacceptable.
What have you got coming up else for the week ahead, Greg? And how far off are you from your challenge, by the way? Is
3 weeks.
3 weeks now.
Yeah. We're getting close. I just actually, while we were on here, I just registered formally, so I've now bought my entry into the show, so I can't go back now. I waited as long as I could, but I cannot wait any longer.
And how many participants are there? Is it like a national thing or a regional?
Well, people travel to do these shows from anywhere, right?
Uh-huh.
But usually it's pretty regional, I would say. But I don't know. Maybe probably like 100 competitors to maybe 150 total,
right,
but spread out across all the events, right? So I only compete in a certain, like there's 3 major types of competition, and I'm only in one of them. And then on top of that, there's I do it by age and by height. So there's like all these other little subdividers into the way it all plays out. So I'm often, sometimes even uncontested in my category. So
that's pretty cool.
Yeah. So, I mean, it works out.
Say hello to Mr. Alicio Way popping in. Always nice to see you, sir.
Hello. Yeah.
Yeah. Watch out, Alicio. Rich has got a wrench. And how about you, Neil? Have you? What's your sort of what's your schedule like for making videos? Do you have a sort of fixed recording schedule, or?
Well, I'd love to try and do it every week, but unfortunately, it's been a sort of a monthly cadence. recently, and then it's even been less than that sometimes. Just work seems to take over sometimes, and then you find you just don't have the time to be able to fit it in. So I'm going to try and make a concerted effort. It's getting colder here. I live in Portugal, so it's getting a bit colder now. Time to sort of knuckle down and maybe try and do some more videos. I used to do a lot more sort of, I wouldn't say sort of longer form videos where it would take me a lot of time to edit and go out. I've done documentaries and things like that for people, which has been really interesting and fun, but it just very, very time consuming. So getting into live streaming and using Ecamm, a bit like yourself, just taking some views from yourself where you just do maybe one take and then just do a stream, talk about a subject, maybe get some questions on it and then move on. It makes the whole sort of workflow and getting those videos out much more fluid, I think. So that's what I'm going to try and do anyway. But got to knuckle down and get some ideas in my head now about what I want to talk about, because so much competition out there. And I'm thinking, well, can I get any people sort of listening to what I'm babbling on about a particular subject? So we'll have to wait and see.
Well, there'll always be people. Yeah, I mean that's kind of what I thought when I started as well. You know, it's like I'm talking about tech stuff and all this, but I mean, if you want to find a saturated market, that's pretty saturated. But at the same time, is it really saturated in reality when you think of like millions of people? And it's easy to look at people who have got YouTube channels with hundreds of thousands or millions, but don't necessarily need to set that as a goal. So there'll always be people.
That's right. I think you're right. Sorry, it's about giving value back, I think, to people, right? People come back to you if you're giving value and demonstrating that you're knowledgeable about something and they like you, and everybody's personality is different anyway. So
that's it.
But it's a great channel that you have here, and it's amazing some of the work that you've done, and it's really interesting, especially learning about Ecamm and things like that. So it's my go-to channel for finding stuff out about Ecamm, at least. Anyway. So thanks for doing all that.
Thank you. Yeah, well, to be honest with you, when I started, it wasn't intended to be an Ecamm channel, but it's I think it's kind of like 70% of my videos are Ecamm. It's just because it's just that when I started using the app, I just fell in love with it. It's got this real sort of I don't know what it is about it. It's just really it's got really Mac-like, but it's just something that's really fun to use as well. So it's become my my favorite app. Yeah, and then finding the Stream Deck as well, which I bought for obviously making the videos and stuff, but then realizing how much that can be used for other stuff on the Mac and just as a general productivity tool. That makes up pretty much the other maybe 25% of my channel, and then there's 5% that's the stuff that I actually intended to do, which was all about Mac productivity and stuff. So yeah, but it's definitely liberating to be able to do it in one take, because I'm my own worst enemy when it comes to editing. So I wouldn't have got anything out if I was having to edit these videos.
It's very time consuming, definitely, and you get too involved in it. And I know you're a recovering perfectionist, and I'm a little bit like that, where nothing's ever perfect, nothing's ever right. So you just have to say, I'm done. I've got to move on now, or you'll just spend forever trying to perfect it.
Uh-huh. And it turns out people don't mind the mistakes. Go on.
Yeah, I have a question. You remember last night when we were trying to put the comments up on the screen?
Yeah.
And you told me I had to go make Ecamm active. If you use that last comment button on Stream Deck, is it going to recognize that Ecamm is already active, or?
Oh yeah. So if I just press that, it will just bring up whatever the last one is.
Right. But even if you're not on that screen, like if I was demonstrating a program on my other monitor.
It's one of those ones that's sort of embedded in Ecamm. So even if I click into another app and then I press it again, it should still work. So there we go. Yeah.
Okay. And then when you bring up the last comment, will it automatically take the previous comment down?
Yeah. So if I put that one up and then I press this, it just replaces it. And then you can use the hide one. Yeah. That's
what I need to know.
I just yes. So previously, this was my favorite device, which is my Space Mouse. So this is for architecture. So this one in the middle has got this little sort of joystick, if you like, that can basically move in any field. So it can pull it up and down, and then move it forwards and backwards, left and right, and also rotate it like that, and also sort of tilt it from side to side and forwards and backwards. So it's just basically you can manipulate a 3D model in any range of motion, basically. So one of the other businesses I have is an architectural design practice. So that's for architectural design. So I always used to be like this, one hand on one mouse and then one hand on this mouse. And that's how I would work. But now that one's sort of been pushed to the side and the Stream Deck's taking its place. So, yeah. The Stream Deck, I'm still waiting for the Stream Desk, a full desk just full of buttons. That I could definitely do with a second one. So, yeah.
It'll be like in Tron.
Yes, yeah. Yeah, so this Space Mouse is this one's got sort of programmable buttons as well, so it's not actually powered on at the moment. But basically, all of these little buttons at the side are sort of hotkeys, and you can program them as well. So it basically means that with sort of one hand on that, I can control my 3D package, and the mouse. You can basically just sort of design a house without taking your hands off those two things, almost, apart from the occasional number pad work.
And that program must run better on the Mac Mini.
Oh yes, yeah. Well, everything runs a lot better on the Mac Mini.
I was going to ask you real quick, sorry about the Mac Mini, and then sorry about the beginning where it was all delayed.
Oh, it's all right.
I found out why that was now. I was running also the YouTube at the same time, and it just couldn't cope with both. I was going to ask you about the Mac Mini. So you mentioned about fan noise in your old Mac that you used to use, and that's one of the problems I have at the moment. I've got so much noise reduction and noise removing going on because the machine's wearing away. How do you find the Mac Mini? Is it quite quiet
silent
now, even with Ecamm?
Totally silent.
Wow.
There's nothing. There's not a single sound. Yeah.
Is that the 8 gig or the 16 gig M1 that you have?
The 8 gig, literally the lowest model of everything. Yeah.
Cheapest one. Fantastic.
Yeah.
I might be investing in one.
Any sound. I've never heard the fan on mine.
No.
Wow.
No.
That's impressive because this thing starts whirring away and it's so noisy.
Fan, right?
I don't. There's one of them. I think it's the laptops that don't have a fan.
The Air doesn't have a fan at all. Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow. That's impressive.
I'll be interested to see how the new MacBook Pro is going to be as far as quiet. They said on their presentation that it was quiet.
The fan doesn't kick in unless you're using it in anger. I'm sure that you probably won't even get to the point of stressing it. It'll be interesting to try and push it to see how much you actually have to do to get it to come on.
Yeah.
But as far as I'm aware, the fans are there like as a backup when you start pushing it, but generally they'll be not on at all.
Good.
Yeah, I've still got my still got an aircon on, so I still have a bit of fan noise, but it's from my aircon, so I'm still using my audio hijack with the noise cancellation. But it's my MacBook, I don't miss that at all. The sound of it just like a helicopter taking off. I mean, I'd got the Mac I was using before this was a 2013 MacBook, so it was like it was really ancient, and also the fan had started getting this little it's like that. I don't know whether the bearings were going in it, so it was had this little like ticking sound to it as well. So yeah. And the other thing about that is, although I'd got audio hijack was cancelling the noise out, because my my in-ear monitors are plugged in directly to the microphone, so I'm actually hearing the unfiltered noise coming through. So I would literally have the fan noise piping into my ears as well, even though it wasn't coming through on the stream. But yeah,
and you hear the stream through your earphones that are plugged into the mic.
Yeah, I hear it. So I've got the audio from the computers coming through this as well. But it's just my actual voice sound is coming through from the mic, and I'm hearing everything that's coming through from the mic directly as well. So it means that the like the aircon, I can still hear that before the audio hijack's taking it out, but I still hear the unedited version of it or unfiltered version of it.
Yeah.
So when I had my MacBook on the desk, there was this constant in my ears.
Yeah.
It's pretty awful. It's pretty awful.
I noticed that you could, all the mics I have, you can plug your earphones into them, but I didn't know if I would be able to hear the stream or just myself.
Yeah.
No, your problem is it's only monitoring the mic, right? Usually.
Yeah. So this monitors the mic coming straight out of the back of the mic, but then it obviously feeds the system audio into it as well. But yeah, so I get the unfiltered mic noise.
Oh, okay. I'll have to get.
You get your system audio back out through your microphone, Jack?
Not through the jack, but yeah, through in my in-ear monitors. It's just playing through this as well. So I'm hearing everything.
Oh, right. But they're not wired to your microphone. They're wired to your system.
The mic is plugged in over USB into the computer, and then that shows up as an output device as well as an input device. So if I select my system audio to go to this mic,
you aim the output back out of it.
Yeah,
got you.
So I'm hearing
you
that.
can use the mic, that jack on the mic as an output from all the system.
Yeah, I'm hearing everything
That's cool.
through this, and it's plugged into the mic. Yeah, but it's just
cool.
my voice part of it. I'm hearing anything that the mic's picking up as well. So that includes the unfiltered sort of fan noise that I've got in the background. That's the thing about it.
Gotcha.
Craig is saying that he reckons that Final Cut Pro will get that fan to turn on. But that's right. We don't.
I don't know. From what I heard the last time, they optimized Final Cut so well for that.
Yeah.
It will be interesting to see, actually. Yeah, you'll have to let us know, Michael, how you can.
Yeah, because they came out with an update to Final Cut and all of the Final Cut. You know what I'm talking about. All those programs that go with Final Cut.
All the Final Cut.
Compressor
they just compressor and what they just came out with an update to that last week. So I'm anticipating no problems.
I use I still, when I do edit, I use Premiere still. So I don't know what I'm gonna do.
Well, I have Premiere only because I have an Adobe account.
Me too. Yeah.
And I can use any one of their programs, but I don't. I like Final Cut.
I've heard it's pretty good. And it's certainly faster on the new Macs.
Yeah, and one of the new updates is that they now built tracking into Final Cut, so you can actually track, people and trap little signs over their heads and things like that, which you couldn't do before. You had to do it in After Effects and then bring it in.
Mm-hmm. After Effects, Alec. We need more tutorials on that.
Not something I use, that isn't. Yeah, I do use Premiere though. Occasionally, when I have to edit stuff for some of the other stuff that I do need to do like some editing occasionally. And I use it for that, but nothing heavy really. But again, that's just because I've got it because I'm on Adobe, so I use Photoshop
such
and
an
stuff like that.
Idiot. You know what? I just did a video for some investors. I don't know why this didn't cross my mind. I did it in QuickTime.
Yeah,
I totally should have done it in Ecamm because I was screen sharing. It was a zealous demo, and I'm like, wait, it just didn't even cross my mind.
Well, there's occasions where I've had to cut something out of my videos that I'm going to put on these videos on YouTube where I haven't occasionally I'll press pause, by the way, like if I'm making a video in Ecamm and something happens, I'll press pause to stop it and restart the recording. But occasionally I'll miss it, like my kid will run in or something like that. And so I'll have to chop some out of it. And I used to do that in QuickTime just because I didn't want to open up any other editor. So I'd just basically open QuickTime and chop the end off and then add another video onto the end because there's just a simple action in the menu that you can do. But it always, I realized after it threw the audio sync way out for like the last half that I'd added on. So
interesting.
I don't do that anymore. So I'm just back to absolutely zero edits. But Craig's saying that the fans don't turn up on the iMac Pro so they definitely wouldn't with the I would imagine with the latest Macs then.
Yeah.
And,
unless you have like 8K video or something, right? Like I guess you're probably just never going to hear the fan.
Uh-huh.
Well, that's good. Makes me happy.
Everyone who's used Final Cut and Adobe Premiere, I'm pretty sure that it's quite consistent. Everyone reckons Final Cut's better.
Well, the problem with
the native apps, right? Sorry.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, I think it is the native thing. Yeah. Well, when Adobe, when the M1 came out, I couldn't even get my fonts to work from Adobe anymore because they hadn't actually made an installer that worked on the M1 Mac. So like literally, I was like, "How are you supposed to do this?" And we had to wait a whole bunch of time for it to happen.
Somebody's asking, Neil, what is the camera and lens that you're using at the moment?
So I have my trusty old Panasonic GH5, and it has the Sigma 18 to 35 f1.2
Nice.
with a speed
Very
booster.
nice.
It's a speed booster on there, so that's what's given it that nice shallow depth of field. And manual focus, of course, because the GH5 can't focus for anything, so I have to like stay completely still.
Yeah. It's a great picture.
It is great. Yeah, yeah.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah. You're all putting me to shame because I'm on a 10-year-old Canon EOS 60D with a kit lens. So
That's
I'll
it.
send
You're
you
off
one
the
of my
show.
cameras.
The Sony camera. That's it. Yeah, I mean, I've heard good things about that Sony camera. The is it the
ZV-E10
VE1?
ZV.
Thank you. Yeah,
Yeah.
that one. That seems to be very good. A lot of people use that with its razor sharp autofocus and things like that. So
Yeah,
this is fine for me. It's an old camera, but I keep using it.
Yeah, that ZV-E10 is. I'll use ZV when I'm speaking to somebody else English. Otherwise, I always revert to the Americanisms on my channel. So it's always beta and ZV as opposed to beta and ZV. But yeah, that'll be the next one that I do when I eventually upgrade, I reckon. It's a lot smaller.
You're gonna go the camera you want to get?
Say again, sorry.
The Z, you want to get that one?
Yeah, the ZV-E10. Yeah.
I like just the direct connect because I have a A6400 and it's garbage over the built-in USB.
Uh-huh.
But if you plug it in by USB, I understand that you're limited to 1920 by 1080.
720 on the Canon, but the apparently with the Sony, it's not actually the case. I thought it was the new ones. Yeah,
I think you put it in 1080p. Yeah, but the one I have only does 720 over the cable.
Because one of the reasons I got it was I wanted to be able to stream in 4K because I have plenty of power on my internet, so there's no reason not to try.
Yeah, I'll just answer Craig. I'll revert back to English, beta and Z.
Yeah.
It's not really so much intentional. It's just because I keep hearing it so often, like when people are talking about the beta.
I have a question for English speakers.
Go on then.
Why does the word hospital not have a preposition in front of it?
That is an interesting one. Yeah, I'm going to hospital. Yeah. Mm.
Yeah. Like,
I don't
get it.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I thought about the only other word where this doesn't apply is church.
And university.
Right. So like I don't know. It's very weird. Like everywhere else you use them.
Uh-huh.
Right. Well, actually places with a noun-based name, basically you seem to use that without a preposition, which I always just like. Also, like with money, people say pound, they don't say pounds. Like it's 18 pound 5 pence, right? Like they still don't pluralize.
That one's sometimes they do. Yeah, sometimes people say, "Oh, it's 18 pounds 50," but then sometimes they'll say it was 18 pound or whatever. Yeah. Yeah.
I don't know, but the hospital thing always bothers me.
I don't have an answer for the hospital one actually, but yeah, I'm sure there is a reason. Actually,
there probably isn't a reason because that's how English works. It's just that way.
That's true actually. Yeah. When you come to try and learn with Thai, there's a lot more letters in the Thai alphabet. But everyone sounds one way. Like if you've got something written in Thai, there's only one way to say it. Whereas there's not like in English, you could have a C that sounds like an S. You could have an S sound from an S. There's lots of different ways to do it. Whereas if you learn the Thai alphabet, then you say it as you see it. Basically,
That's great.
Yeah,
I didn't even understand English until I took Spanish. Like, because all the like tenses make more sense in Spanish, right? Like than they do in English.
Yeah. It's hard trying to explain English to when you sort of actually stop to think about trying to teach somebody who's completely foreign to like Latin languages. So like talking to somebody Thai and trying to explain how things work in English is
a
bit weird.
Nuts. Yeah.
And like the way things are. if you hear the way, say, for example, Thai people will speak English, they'll put the sentence structure in the same structure as the Thai structure. But it makes sense because it's consistent in Thai, whereas in English, sometimes things are around one way, and another way, another. It's a bit weird.
Yeah. Well, it's also like Yoda speaks kind of like they speak in Hindi, right? Like, so
yeah.
It's kind of
that's a bit like Thai,
right?
actually.
Like,
Yeah. Yeah, Thailand is an awesome place to live. I didn't go back to the UK for 10 years after moving here, to be honest, because family were happy to visit me over here. And I've been here 16 years now. And it's awesome place, awesome food, weather, people. Do you know what? The one thing, they call it the land of smiles, Thailand. It's like that's their sort of marketing slogan in the tourist board here. So it's Thailand, land of smiles. But everyone does genuinely smile. And you walk around the markets and things like that, and everybody's got a smile on their face when they see you. But one thing I noticed when I went back to the UK for the first time in 10 years was driving from Heathrow up to where my parents live in the sort of in the Midlands near Manchester, and driving up the motorway, and I was struck by driving in the car and looking at all the other people on the motorway. Everybody looked miserable in their cars. Yeah. They just had this expression on the face that was just like that.
That's the resting British face.
But I've just got so used to seeing people like just everybody's smile. It makes such a difference when people have got smiles on their faces. So yeah, it's pretty awesome.
Do they drive on the left or right in Thailand?
It's the same as the UK, actually. Yeah, so
okay.
The correct side.
Oh, that was an easy transition for you then.
It was, yeah. Although the actual how can I put this? The quality of driving is maybe not quite as good because they don't have such rigorous driving tests over here.
Or
lanes.
Right.
Yeah.
And there aren't always like as well-defined lanes either.
That's right. Yeah. Yeah, and you could be going down like a highway and then there's a pothole in the middle of the road. Or you could equally be going down like a 3-lane highway and there's a buffalo in the middle of the road. So it's whereas all the motorways in the UK, there's like you can't get onto them. There's usually like fences and stuff like that on either side of them. So if you've got like a high-speed motorway, then you don't have to worry about, there's going to be a cow walk out into the road or something like that. But it's a bit haphazard. The other thing that I've noticed is where you've got like a central reservation in the middle of the road, and then there's like you'd have to go like up the road and do a U-turn to come back to get to the place you want to go to. If it's further to go the correct way to a U-turn than it is to sort of go the wrong way down the road to the nearest U-turn further back, often people will just go the nearest route, so they'll drive the wrong way up the hard shoulder to get to the U-turn they want. So yeah.
So I don't know if you've ever been to India, but so in India it's like I always used to joke there's like 7 modes of transit, at any time, like including animals and whatnot. And they intentionally build these sidewalks will be built like 6 to 8 inches tall,
right? So
that cars won't ride up on them, right?
Yeah.
So when you go like near the airport, like the sidewalk is this high.
Yeah,
right?
Yeah.
like the lip, right? Just to prevent cars from trying to drive over it.
Uh-huh.
By the way, did you see this comment from Loud Libation?
I did, yeah. That makes sense in some ways. That's a bit like going to university. He's in the hospital. He's going to hospital. It's funny actually.
Well, I don't know. It's not a condition.
No, it's not, I suppose. But I do get sort of what he's saying.
A not specific place, that part maybe, but I would still say to the hospital, right? Like here, at least. I think most people would agree that sounds more logical.
I kind of agree with you as well, to be honest, but I don't understand why I don't say it that way. I would still say hospital. Yeah.
Yeah.
Same here. It might be a northern thing though, Alex, because I'm from Wigan originally, so
right.
It's yeah.
You don't do it either. You don't do it either, Neil.
I don't know actually. Well, my wife is American, so we're two people separated by a common language. Exactly. So it's. I have to think about it now. What I say, yeah.
I would always say he had to go to hospital, or they're going to, or I'm going to. I suppose if I say going to university, that's a different thing. That's like as in going to there as opposed to a place. You'd say if somebody's going to university, that's
It makes sense not to say, like if you say he's going to Cambridge, you wouldn't use the preposition in front of it, right?
Yeah.
So it seems like they just carry that rule over regardless of what thing you're putting there, right? Like, you know, like I'm going to St. James Hospital or I'm going to hospital. Okay, same thing, right?
Yeah. Yeah, it's a bit of a weird one.
You got me thinking now. Yeah.
Yeah. I agree. It doesn't actually make sense the way that I say it, but I'm not sure why we do.
Well, it's consistent to the extent that for a place you don't put a preposition in front of it.
Yeah, yeah.
Right?
Yeah, I'm going to London. I'm going to Cambridge.
Yeah,
You wouldn't say I'm going to that. I'm going to the London. That doesn't make
sense.
Right,
exactly, right? And so from a relative point of view, like that's consistent that it is a place. Yeah, holiday was another one, right? Like you don't go on a holiday, you go on holiday.
We go on holiday. Yeah, yeah.
Right.
Right.
But actually we say I'm going on vacation also, right? So that's pretty similar.
Right. Right.
So it's not just
the Brits like to keep their talks short.
Yeah, we're just efficient.
Knock out the words you don't need.
There's 100 ways to cuss in England.
Yeah, it's quite a few more than that probably.
Probably.
Yeah. It's very regional as well. That's that particular aspect
for sure.
as well.
Yeah. I know when I hang out, when I was in London a lot, like all my London friends would talk like where they came from in England or the UK, and I was like, "What are you saying? You don't make any sense right now. None of those are words." That
is something that's quite odd about the UK. Actually, is the sort of diversity of accents and how they can be like really, really regional down to. I mean, I'm from Stoke-on-Trent, Neil, so you'll know where that is. But
so did you look up Eddie Hall yet? I'm telling you, Eddie Hall.
So I'm from Stoke-on-Trent, but people who are like literally 20 miles south in Birmingham have got a totally different accent. People who are 20 miles further north in Manchester have got a totally different accent. And then like sort of west from there is Liverpool. That's totally different. And we're not, you know, we're separated by as much as, you know, I suppose a large American town, and yet the accents are like completely different. It's quite strange really how it's developed like that. But it does make it challenging for people who are trying to, you know, learn English, where they've got to learn this whole different language almost. The funny thing is my child's nursery school teacher, kindergarten teacher, is an English chap teaching all the Thai kids English, and he's from Yorkshire. So he's got like a really strong Yorkshire accent. There's nothing wrong with that, but all the Thai children now, when they want to say coconut, they say coconut, because he's got this really strong Yorkshire accent. So it's quite funny.
I have a question.
Yeah, go on.
In England, is bloody a bad word or a good word?
It's technically
sort of.
Yeah, it's a tame word, I suppose, really.
Because I was watching a few movies the other night, and they kept saying, "Oh, that bloody car of mine." And I'm saying, "Well, no, is he cussing or not?"
Yeah, it is really. Yeah, but it's it's on the scale of things. It's not like the highest ranking one.
No.
Yeah. Oh no, not at all. No. It's way down.
I saw like Gordon Ramsay use it on a morning show in England, so like it was fine.
Yeah.
Like
you
know, like
yeah. He's used a lot worse, certainly.
Yeah.
Also, another funny word is cheeky.
Cheeky, yeah. Do you not use that in the US? No,
very rarely.
Right. Oh, I use that. Yeah.
And what does it mean?
Like a little bit naughty, a little bit like
okay.
Like you might say, oh, he's a bit of a cheeky chappy as well, something like that.
Like the term exists. The most famous use I know of it is like people always want to go for a cheeky Nando's. Right?
Yeah, it can be a little like that as well, like a little bit crafty, a little bit sly, something like that.
Yeah.
Let's go for it. Yeah. Yeah. Well, this has turned into the welcome to Language Today. It is amazing though.
It's good fun.
Yeah, it's what you said, Neil, about like separated by a common language. It is funny the sort of we spot like the differences in the way things are said in amongst all of the other things that are exactly the same.
Definitely.
Yeah.
This has been great fun. I have to say, it's been really nice to talk to you all and to join you at this late hour for me. I think I'll bow out now. It's 1:15 for me in the morning.
We
so
should
I'm
go.
gonna-
Alex's son is about to run into the room, I'm sure.
That's it. Any moment now. Well, it's really nice to speak to you, Neil, because obviously I've seen you in the comments and chat and things like that. So it's nice to put a face to the name and have a proper chat.
It's a pleasure,
Great,
Neil.
and
Thank you.
It's very nice, and hopefully I'll try and join again sometime.
Anytime.
All right.
Anytime.
All right, take care of yourselves, guys.
Cool
Take
stuff.
Okay.
Cheers.
Bye, everyone.
Have a good day.
Bye bye.
We'll see you as well.
Cool. Okie dokie, Greg. Thanks for stopping by. Whoops. There we go. Hang on a minute.
That's all right.
I've dropped my. That was the one I wanted to go to. Yeah, well, we did a bit of a Q&A, didn't we? A bit of an Ecamm Live Q&A, but yeah, that was really an interesting chat. That.
While I've got you, do you have to go?
No, it's all right. You go for it.
Okay. I noticed on your page where you list everything that you whatnot. How do you become an affiliate to like Ecamm and TubeBuddy and some of the others, so that it not necessarily to make money, but like your buy me a coffee, not buy me a coffee, but like when you show where to get Ecamm, it's always your stream, then your / whatever.
Yeah. So do you mean how do I create those links? Is that what you mean?
No.
Or how do you become an affiliate?
How do you get the permission to do those?
Right. So if you with TubeBuddy, if you're logged into TubeBuddy, I'll just come back to this one a minute, and then I'll just flip me back up on here. There we go. Whoops, wrong one. On that one.
Oh, twice the fun.
There we go. I'll get rid of that one, and I'll get rid of this one. Right, so in TubeBuddy, when you are logged into it, in fact, I'm probably not logged into on this window. I was on Chrome, I think, wasn't I? So if you are, where have I gone? There we go. Let me just move this chat down here. So when you're in TubeBuddy, you can go into, where is it now? Back to home. From the main TubeBuddy page, then you've got an affiliate center here. So you just click on that one, and then you can set yourself up as an affiliate on that. And then they'll give you, you'll have a link, which will be, that's my link actually, tubebuddy.com/take1tech. The way I do it, where I have my links where it's take1tech.io/TubeBuddy or /Ecamm, that I've done on my side. So I've set those links up, and they are basically just forwarding to this affiliate link. With Ecamm, it is at affiliate.ecamm live, I think. Let me just have a little look. I think it's that Ecamm. Have a little look. I think it's affiliate.ecamm.com. So here we've got the Ecamm Live affiliate program. So I'll drop that in the chat. This one out of the way. So this is the Ecamm affiliate program. And you can just sign up there, and then it takes a couple of days for them to check it up. They actually want to check a little bit, just that you're a user and stuff like that, but there's nothing much more to it than that. So you just sign up there, and then with that one as well, you'll get a link which will be like Ecamm / or Ecamm affiliate / something. So what I've done to actually set that up on my side, if I can actually show you that, in case anybody else is using Squarespace. If I go into my website. Bring this one up. There's my website. Oops. Remove that. And then I'll come into edit it. And then down here in the... let's just move this window over a second. Move that out of the way. Move this one here so we can see it. Now, why is that not loading up? 1 second. Try that again. Doesn't seem to be opening up my config. Oh, there it is. Yeah. So in the this is in Squarespace. So if anybody's using Squarespace, then it's basically in my settings, and then advanced, and then where's it gone? URL mappings. That's the one. There are other ways you can do this. There is a third-party program which or service that Doc recommends. I can't remember what it's called now. Rebrandly, I think, is the one that he recommends. So with Rebrandly, you can sign up to that, and basically you can create your own links through that, and it will link to wherever you want. But here, I've basically just set up my custom mappings in here. So I've got this Ecamm1 maps to ecamm.com with my referral link. I've got my Buy Me a Coffee link, TubeBuddy, and all these other things. So basically, this is the little extension onto the end of my URL. So Restream, Epidemic, YouTube, Setup, and all these sorts of things. And then that just relinks to these links here. So that's the way that I've set that up, so that when I do one of my little promo things, like if I went to my TubeBuddy thing, I could say, if you want to try TubeBuddy, then head over to takeonetech.io/TubeBuddy, and there's the link at the bottom. And that is how we get to get to that. So yeah, that's how I'd set that up. But yeah, Rebrandly is the other one. So let me just quickly have a look at Rebrandly, because I don't use it, but I know that Doc recommends that one. And that is how you can create your brand on your links. So basically, you can create your URL, and then you can have whatever you want after it. So yeah, that's how I've done that. And there's affiliate programs for everything, really. So, you know, for TubeBuddy, for Epidemic, if you use Epidemic Sounds. Yeah. Oh, hey, Albert. Just say hello. Nice for you to pop in.
Hey, Albert.
Great to see you here. Hope you had a good trip.
Traveling to Cleveland. He's going to Cleveland from South Carolina.
Nice.
Wonderful.
So yeah, that's how I do my my links anyway. And yeah, there's affiliate programs for most things. And do you use Amazon, by the way? Have you got an Amazon affiliate set up as well?
No, I do not, because I thought you had to be streaming in Amazon to do that. And then Neil just said that if you don't have enough people click on you, that they take it away from you anyway.
Yeah, you need, it's within the first, I think it's 90 days, is it? Or 4 months or 5 months or something like that. You need to have 3 people that have clicked through on the links or something like that. So, yeah, that's sort of one of the things to it. So once you set it up, you'll need to have, it's just to see some sort of traffic going through it. I think it might be 6 months, actually. So you've got, got to have, or it might be 3 qualifying purchases within 6 months or something like that. But certainly putting links in all like videos and stuff like that, obviously depending on the sort of stuff you're doing, it did make a difference with my my Amazon affiliate stuff. Yeah.
Well, at any rate, I guess we could probably call it a night. But again, thank you for having me on.
Oh, you're welcome. Thank you anytime, as always.
And thank you again for last night, because it helped to have you on there asking questions and doing some demonstration, because I was running out of things to say.
Well, I mean, you've got such a sort of mine of information and knowledge and stuff like that. Like, I never realized that you worked for Sony before and Apple and stuff like that. It's
oh yeah,
it's amazing. I'm just thinking of all like the potential content and things like that you could you could do videos on. I'm sure there's an endless resource. It's just sort of thinking about a few titles.
I caught Doc's show this afternoon, and he did quite a congratulatory speech on our stream last night.
Oh, I'll have to go back and watch that.
He put up a picture of you and I.
Oh, that's nice.
and it made me feel so good. I tell you, that man is really a hero to me.
Me too.
Certainly, you have been a wonderful hero. But if it hadn't been for him, I never would have gotten started in this. I don't know where I would be psychologically today.
I'm right with you. He's definitely my coach. I always it's how he always signs off his videos. I'm Doc Rock, your content creation coach, or in a lot of them. And that's totally how I think of him. Well, coach and mentor, actually.
Check out that video, because he usually starts out by saying hello to everybody that's in the chat.
Yeah.
And when he got to me, he just went off on a tangent. And I thought, oh, cool. God, thank you so much.
Yeah.
and he even told me to come to Hawaii.
Yeah, yeah.
And I'm going.
We'll have to have a meetup.
Yeah. So, at any rate, I'm going to sign off because he needs to go outside. And I already been outside when I did a My problem is I sit here. The camera's over there. I sit here drinking, and it runs right through me. So anyway, thanks so much, my friend. My best to you and your family. And take care.
Thank you, Michael.
I will sign off thank you. I will sign off for now. Bye-bye.
Cool. Bye-bye. See you soon, Michael. Bye-bye. Well, thank you, everyone, for coming and hanging out. It was great to see you all here. Some new people and some old faces as well. Not old faces, obviously, but you know what I mean. And watch out, Rich has got a wrench now, so I'll have to go and add a few more other people in there as well. We'll have a whole team behind us in future. So that's all for this video. But if you got any specific questions about the Ecamm Live Ecamm Live update, which is what we were talking about originally, wasn't it? Or if you've got any interesting questions about the differences between American English and English, then let me know about those as well. And I'll leave it there for the moment because I can hear my little kids waking up. So that is all for today. And until the next time, have an absolutely wonderful day. And I will speak to you all very soon. Have a great day, everyone. Bye-bye. That's it. We got the strong arms, Rich. Cool. Bye-bye, everyone.